Hello and welcome to Friday Night Social with me, Graham Hughes, and at the moment I am joined by Mikey Famine over in the US of A. How you doing, Mikey? You okay?
Call me the last patriot.
The Last Patriot. Very welcome to the Last Patriot over in the States. Shit's going down, man. You've had a federal judge arrested or something. What's going on?
Up in Wisconsin, Kash Patel and his goons decided to go after a judge because they're accusing, mind you, which is very important. They're accusing the judge of tipping off the person there for their immigration trial, tipping them off to let them know that ICE was waiting for them. So they didn't show up.
Oh shit.
So now Kash Patel is mad because his little sting didn't go the way he wanted it to. And yeah. I mean that just goes to show you how justified these things are, that they're waiting for people to show up for their next stage in their immigration process, and ICE is waiting there to take them before they can go into court.
So what happened?
Just that.
No, but I mean, like, they arrested. Sorry,
The judge for
what happened in the courtroom? Sorry, I should say hello to Mike first. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hi, Mike.
We got
Hi,
Mike
sorry
Dixon
I'm late.
in the house.
dare you.
No, I was late, mate. I was late getting started as well. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
So this is what ICE has been up to. Like, not so much for Mahmoud Khalil, but for the other gentleman that was from Palestine that got put into the ICE detention center. He went to his immigration court date. The court said, "Hey, you need to show up here for the next stage of your immigration status." He says, "Okay." That's awfully weird that they're putting me through so fast. And then he's like, that's when he did the 60 Minutes interview and did the whole thing. And then as soon as he walked into the courtroom, there was ICE waiting there on the bench to take him into custody before the judge could even talk to him. So they're just waiting outside the courtrooms to scoop people up.
So, but I mean, did the judge do anything, or was the judge just in the room? Like, did the judge say, I think you better leave now"?
No, arrested. She was arrested.
Yeah, no, but before because she was arrested for. They said that she opened the back door or something for him to leave. Did that actually happen, or was that just a made up?
They're saying that the person got tipped off and the judge tipped him off. How the mechanism of that, I'm not exactly sure.
Scott, hello.
Hi,
How you doing?
Right.
Hi, quiet Scott.
We've got it's Scott Williams in the chat. How you doing, Scott? Scott, you're very quiet. You're very quiet. She's not
Sorry
like you.
about that.
Can blast yourself.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Turn it up, man.
Fake. It must be a fake Scott if it's quiet. That can't be right.
Yeah.
Counterfeit Scott.
It's quiet. Too quiet. Before we
Be
go
careful,
on,
it's a trap.
I just want to say a big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Hayton Puds, we've got Billy Kershaw, Saz, Scott, we've got Alex in there, we've got Chris C, we've got Diz, so many. We've got Francis in there and Gunny. I'm Person Impersonator. If you would like to join our friends in the chat there, all you need to do is press the subscribe button and wait for a few minutes and you'll be able to join the chat. But don't be a troll or we'll mute you, boot you, whatever. Anyway, so Scott, we were just talking about this breaking news about a judge in Wisconsin being arrested for obstructing ICE. ICE, baby.
It's such a random little state, isn't it? Like, Wisconsin. Like, if you're gonna be,
Disrespectful.
why not one in New York? Why not one in California? I mean, no disrespect to the state itself. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, why her? Why was she so special? It's really weird. I've literally just been reading on it like now. So, yeah, I mean, if this is the case. I mean, it's over, isn't it? It has to be a moment where I think we've been saying this for weeks, right? When's the moment? When's the straw that breaks the camel's back? When America kind of goes, well, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Because no one's doing that.
I mean, how many weeks has he spent decrying judges, saying that judges are all fake judges, saying that, you chip away at them publicly. You start chipping away at the press, you chip away at students, you chip away at universities, you chip away at judges. And then when one of them gets arrested, certainly his base just sit there and go, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Judges are bad.
Yeah. But
it's not so much that he's saying, "Oh, let me sick my people on all of those people." Bad conditions led to the creation of his fan base in the first place, right? Like these are desperate people who want cheaper goods, can't afford their lives, and they're thinking this guy, he's the solutions guy. He's going to take care of that. This is not going well for him. This entire administration has been going very poorly. His polls, even amongst his own flock, even from Fox News, are in the shit. It's easy to say it's the judges, it's the media, it's these things. It's so easy on the left now to be like, remember when he said he was going to get rid of the Constitution? He was joking when he said that. I'm like, no, I've said this for months. It is not the Democrats that he has to look out for. You keep going after these constitutional pillars, and there are radicals out there who are going to stem the tide as it will. Like he needs to understand that he is making some very, very dangerous big mistakes. And to send your FBI after judges and shit like that, you think the war on China is bad? Wait till all the veterans that you just fired decide that they're going to take DC for themselves.
Yeah,
I don't see it happening. I'm sorry, I don't see it happening. I think everybody is just still sitting by, and you know who has worse polling numbers than Trump? The bloody Democrats.
The Democrats.
They're terrible, and
Like
because
27%.
they still don't understand in their little itchy brains, right, that there's authoritarianism happening right in front of them. They still think this is a concept, right? Like a concept of fucking a policy that Trump had. It's ridiculous. They're not doing anything. They're sitting on the side going, well, the people will eventually see. The people see, and they don't care.
Before we go on, sorry to interrupt, because Charles Stanhope dropped a super chat in. Thank you so much, Charles. It's really kind of you. Saying, along with what we're talking about, US military are in a difficult situation. They swear loyalty to both the US Constitution and the president. So what the hell happens when the president is actively attacking the US Constitution?
That's what I'm saying the danger is that nobody knows. He's going to find out before we do. Because let's just assume that both scenarios happen simultaneously, where one half of the military says, we are his brown shirts, and hey, Zero, you want to shut the hell up? Goddamn. Bitch. He had to get the last word.
Is that your kid you're talking to?
No, the dog. He's just barking at a squirrel or something. But let's say it breaks 50-50 and half go for tyranny and half go for democracy. I don't know that the half that go for democracy are not going to accomplish their goal before the half on tyranny would do. Like he's only his cabinet is only so many people. And there's only so many people that can protect them at any given moment. When it starts getting into hostage negotiations and taxes being withheld from entire states, so billions of dollars not showing up to the federal government, when it starts getting into the really hard-hitting, constitution-shaking moves, he doesn't have a lot of moves. His move is to hide in Florida. I don't know if that's the best move. You know what I mean?
That,
like if you destabilize the entire country and there's 100 of you guys and 340 million Americans that you're using as fodder, I don't know if it's going to work the way that you think it will work. I'm not sure that I'm sure I'll hate the outcome either way. You know, I'm not for either outcome. I would rather him just say, you know what, I was wrong. Elon put me in a rocket, and then we'll just see what happens. Like, I would prefer that to be the case, and then we undo all this. But if he wants to literally say, no, we're going to put all in on black, roll the fucking, spin the fucking ball, let's go. If that's what he wants to do, there is a very small chance that he comes out of this alive and or on top.
I just so disagree. I don't think anything's going to happen. I think the American people are going to sleepwalk into fascism because they're so apathetic. that just want to get to work. They just want to do their job. They just want to support their families. And I just don't see the revolution on the streets. I don't see it happening. I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah. I mean, if it does, I hope it does. That's all I got. I hope it happens. I don't see it.
All you said to me is that you don't see it. And I don't disagree that you don't see it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. So if it happens, brilliant.
I think it's going to take I mean, what kind of, if you said there's this 50-50 split, let's say, hypothetically in the military, where you've got the ones for the Constitution and the ones for the president, what kind of guy are we talking about? What kind of guys, men and women, are we talking about who are going to take up arms against the president, which is what you're suggesting?
They're all take up arms. They already have arms.
And but what I mean is the mad people, the people that think that shooting politicians is the solution, tend to be right wing, tend to be MAGA, tend to be racist, etc., etc.
Tend to be constitutional loving. Like it is their epitaph sent on golden tablets from above. The Constitution is their life. So attacking it is dangerous.
8 years merging those two groups of people into one. That's what I think he's done. I think that's where Scott's coming from, is that you don't see the people mad enough to pick up the gun, not believing that the Earth is flat and we didn't do the Apollo moon landings, right, and that Trump is a genius. You know.
So I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't really want to jump in, but I just want to say hi, Josh, to Josh Russell for moving forward.
Josh.
Who's joined the chat. He's going to be talking about the local elections that are taking place later this week in the UK. So
sorry, my country is
it all right, Josh? Should we just continue this a little bit first about the
absolutely? Yeah, I was quite enjoying just listening in as that was going. So yeah, okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. So the question was asked by Mike, like who would it be? So, yeah, Mikey.
So the danger again is he has stirred up all pots. He's raised the temperature in all pots, right? And then but everyone keeps like, oh, the Democrats, they keep trying to hurt it. No, idiot, you have unleashed all the crazies. Like we keep them in certain areas on purpose. We acknowledge their existence. We know that there's sometimes we just can't do anything about it. Look at our gun violence. Like we understand that there are dangerous people that just roam the streets, and that's just a way of life here. And we just have to go on with it. When you intentionally piss off and enrage and deprive the rights of the most tactically trained ones. Like, dude, you fired 60,000 veterans. What are you thinking? Maybe if they were bakers, I mean, you're not really afraid of a baker, but these are trained. These are trained assassins that you just sent home after. Like, imagine if you were in Afghanistan. And then they pulled out of Afghanistan. And that was a whole terrible thing. So then you got a job at the VA back home. And then they closed it. Like, those are the guys that he needs to be worried about. Not us weirdo, blue, they, them motherfuckers. Like, we're fine. Like, we're not an issue. And I think that's probably what Scott is thinking I'm talking about. Like, that groundswell of people, they just had over, 60 different protests last week. Like, they're doing their own organizing with it because the DNC is nowhere to be found. So this is all from this is all grassroots at this point.
I see that. I see those people. But your veterans that you've just spoken about, when were they all fired?
During I'm saying the ones fired from the VAs?
Yeah. Like, when were these people fired recently?
From Doge, it was within the last couple months because it's been different states.
Yeah. What have they done in the last couple of months?
Sorry?
What have they done in the last couple of months?
Well, they've been showing up to them town halls and you've been listening to them.
Yeah, but but they haven't shown up with a gun.
He's too good.
They haven't showed up to take it over. They haven't shown up
Scott,
to do a little internal invasion. Sorry?
Yeah, I don't think they've all been laid off yet. Looking at the news, it's saying that they're to be laid off in April.
Yeah,
there's 83,000.
Are we still waiting for the desperation of that?
So if you're
but I sorry to interrupt, but I think that Mikey, I think Mike and Scott agree on this fundamentally, but I think we're talking at cross purposes. I, like Scott, am really frustrated with the lack of protest, with the lack of the Democrats doing anything. But I agree with Mikey. I think if anyone is going to take Trump out for pizza, it's going to be one of his own. It's going to be one of the people who voted for him and thinks that he's God's gift to the humanity, and then realizes that he's lost everything.
All of his 401k. He's going to go have to work at Amazon or something. And then because he had $150,000 a year put away and he was supposed to have a comfortable life. And now he is going to have nothing.
Yeah.
And when that guy hears that, I don't want to be anywhere near that guy because he ain't going to. Yeah.
The economic impact of tariffs isn't due for another few weeks, is it? And that's going to be the kind of tipping point when I can't feed my family this weekend. All these farmers who do soybeans, like they do a lot of in Illinois, pretty close to me actually. They grow soybean. China says we don't want it. We're going to get Brazil's instead. So you guys keep all of it.
Yeah, and pork. They've said no.
What are they supposed to do
from Spain?
What are they supposed to do with all that? You know what I mean? Like those when he's pushing people, way past what any administration previously has done, or what normal human beings can take that much stress going on with their situation. And like, he just cut the money. Like if you put solar panels up on your barn because they said that they would pay for it. And then he says, no. I don't care what Biden told you. I'm not giving you nothing. You're paying for that, buddy.
Yeah.
So now you're worried about getting the crop in the ground. You finally get the crop in the ground. And now he starts a tariff war. And China says, I don't want the soybeans you just put in the ground.
And it's not going to be, like I said, it's not going to be everyone who voted for Trump who's going to realize this, but there's going to be a few people. And it'll be like the moment where there's someone in your life who you absolutely love, and then one day they do something really, really shitty, and that love just disappears. It just goes, and suddenly they are the person that you fucking can't stand. And that's what's going to happen. At least, there's 77 million people voted for him, so it only takes one. With good aim. Alistair, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Is the film Civil War going to come true? No, because the film Civil War was absolute bollocks because it made Civil War look quite cool in America, whereas actually, as I've said a few times on this channel, most people in a Civil War die of starvation and disease, carving in their basements, freezing to death, huddled around their dead children, because that's what happens in Civil Wars. You don't go around, being all cool.
In Marvel's Civil War?
No, Alex Garland's Civil War.
Did you miss the editor's cut? My God.
Not wrong Civil War.
America in a basement with his children.
Modern America has never experienced war.
They were in New York.
No, they haven't. Even during the actual Civil War, that was pitched battles. That was pitched battles on battlefields. It wasn't going through towns and cities and villages and just wiping people out for looking at you funny. It's going to be horrific. And, people could grow their own food back then. They knew someone who was a farmer. These days, there's about 5 farmers in America and they own all of Indiana. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much for the £2 super chat.
Or maybe it was Wisconsin.
One Angry Pagan, data from almost all science fiction.
From a bunch of chimney sweeps. I gotta take things.
Don't start doing your Dick Van Dyke impression. Got no time for it.
The rest of the show, I'm doing that voice.
Come on, Governor, sort your Civil War out, won't you?
Cool, blimey.
One Angry Pagan, data from almost all scientific research being deleted as well. Which has been going on. Also, Alistair, thank you very much for the extra £5 super chat. Thank you. Off topic, Rain, but by-election Scotland, SNP hold Tories in last place, but Reform got 17% in a left-leaning country. But they must have taken a lot of those votes from the Tories, and this is what Phil and I were talking about earlier today. We were talking about the fact that the Reform are doing well, clearly in the polls. But the majority of the votes they're taking are Tory votes. They're not Labour votes necessarily.
That's a good segue to switch from Civil War and the end of the world to Josh talking about the Lincolnshire by-elections.
Yes.
It can only get better.
Tell us about the county council by-elections. The There's a by-election in Runcorn, isn't there?
I like a good balance show.
There's a bunch of mayoral elections. It looks like Andrea Jenkins is going to become the mayor of Lincolnshire. And I think that's quite fitting in a way.
Actually, there was something I saw the other day and I didn't follow up. You've just reminded me about her potentially being disqualified for some reason. Is that right?
Yeah, she didn't fill out the form correctly. She'll get away with it, though. She's posh and rich and she's got rich friends.
We can dream.
Did you see George Santos got sent away for 5 years or something? Did anyone see that?
No.
George Santos, the American crook guy, the politician.
Mad. No, I didn't.
You mean the gay guy?
Yeah, well, potentially. He denies it.
Potentially, he is gay.
He denies it at certain times when it suits him, doesn't it?
He's been doing a podcast, hasn't he? Like, yeah.
Like
he's in jail now.
Yeah, he's been sentenced to 5 years in jail.
Never mind.
Anyway, Josh, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's all right.
I invited Josh on to talk about the elections.
Apologies.
No, because, Josh, earlier this afternoon, people were asking in the chat whether Stop the Tories tactical voting site was up. So just tell us a little bit about what's going on with that at the moment.
Yeah, no, so yeah, thanks for having me again, Graham. It's been a while. Good to be back. Yeah, what's happening? So yeah, Stop the Tories. I mean, the thing is, us and the electorate, right, and the Tories themselves did an incredible job of stopping them, right? And so is that still the thing even? I don't know if our mission, if you remember rightly, right, was to try and get the Lib Dems into second place. So they would be the opposition against the Labour Party and pull the Labour Party in the other direction, right? Instead of having someone from the far right opposite.
We're only 20 MPs short.
I know. I mean, oh man, the numbers are quite mad. We could have done it because 20 MPs, but just a few tens of thousands of votes as well, right? So really quite powerful what we can accomplish, and it's just about getting more people doing it. And the one thing I really enjoy about tactical voting, and as you probably all know, I'm quite optimistic about all this because I have quite a different view on what's going on in some ways. Is that with tactical voting, once you give people some information and some power, there's a reason to show up as well, right? Because with our crappy election systems, the same in America too, so many votes are wasted. Like in Britain, I think on average at an election, it's about 70% of votes that don't actually count towards a winning candidate. So why do those people bother, right? And if you've got all these safe seats, what's the point? But in some places, it's really thin margins, and so we can make quite a lot of difference. And all of a sudden, you get together and vote as a community, as a country, rather than just thinking about your local area as well. You have to make that compromise occasionally. You can actually topple a government, right? And I think what we're trying to do in the future is to point that in a different direction as well. So not just toppling things, but using our voting collective and our collective power to force good things to happen as well. To actually say, look, we are the dominant voting force. And we know that because you look at the stats, the right wing combined, when you add up all the right wing votes at every election going back 100 years in this country, there's never been a majority, right? It's always been a majority voting against them every time. So we know there's a majority against the right wing. And this is what's so infuriating, right, about what we used to call the opposition parties for the last 15 years, is that they don't seem to understand where the majority is and that they can't read.
Also, they won't work together. And, Phil's left Labour.
I saw that video, yeah.
Phil Morehouse, no longer a Labour member.
Wow. Is he really?
And this is because he wants to support tactical voting.
Yeah, I saw that. It was amazing. Yeah, I have to have a proper catch up with Phil. I mean, they will never work together, and there's lots of reasons why, obviously, right? And we all know about 97 and the wink and the nod and the lists being shared and all that kind of stuff. But that was about it, right?
No, it happened in the last election, didn't it? Because Labour published a list of constituencies that it wasn't low priority. I think it said low priority. But it was obvious, giving it to the Lib Dems, going, "Here's the ones where we're not spending any money."
But the point is that, but ultimately, we the voters are the ones that end up going to the polling station, right? We're the ones that go there in our millions to do it, and it's us that need to get coordinated. Because my dream is that a progressive movement in this country is not inside a party, right?
Yeah.
It's independent and forcing the parties, whoever it is, with our voting power to make things different. And the other reason they don't work together is purely boring technical stuff, and it's Electoral Commission rules, right? So if they did work together, they basically would be seen to be one party, and then they would have their spending caps limited, which would make them uncompetitive. So there's really boring reasons too, of course. But again, screw all that. We the voters, and that's what we're trying to do, is to say we are the biggest group.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do.
I think what's gonna be evident for most of the Western world is like, especially after COVID, that the proletariat's kind of sick of eating shit.
Yeah.
And we've stomached enough, and we're getting kind of tired of it. And I think the same sentiments of more progressive views does not matter of your pageantry of left or rightism. Are you going to get something done, and are you going to get it done without causing the biggest hullabaloo possible? Can you just work? That's where we're at. Like, can you just do the job and go home, please, without, 1,000 scandals and special carve outs for your best friends? Like, can you just be a normal frickin' dude with a job?
I agree, and I think there's a frustration on the right as well, and that's why these populists do so well, because they say, I'm going to stop all this stuff. When Trump said in his first term, I'm going to drain the swamp, that was quite attractive to people who were not really interested in politics. They weren't interested in politics. All they saw was corruption. They saw politicians as all being the same. Trump comes along and he's different. And then people latch onto it, unfortunately. Before we go on, big shout out to Saz for joining Lone Star on the Politics Social ladder. And also Reverend Kathy as well. Also welcome to Lone Star. So thank you for coming along and being a member. Also, George, thanks for being a member for 19 months. That's pretty cool. Can we have a shout out for Vlad Vexler in hospital? Yep, absolutely. And, you're awesome. Thank you. You're the best. And then a couple of super chats down here. We got Charles Stanhope. Thank you very much, Charles, for the super chat. The Romanian dictator, Nicolae Ceausescu, was brought down when a few people started booing him in the crowd. Yeah, he was shot dead on Christmas Day. I think it was 1989, was it? Or 1990? But yeah, they got rid of him. Umka, 10 euros. Thank you. We always like getting euros on this channel. I'm afraid those with guns in the USA can get rid of Trump, but they will not support woke or left. So they will be angry and brainwashed again and will elect Trump #2 or worse. I don't know about that. I think Trump is a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. Like, there's no one waiting in the wings. And a mistake that a lot of these dickheads make, Putin and Trump and Idi Amin and Pol Pot and all these horrible dictators who do horrible things, is they get rid of all the people around them who are competent because they think, oh, they might take my job, so I'm going to get rid of all these competent people. So you just end up with a bunch of corrupt idiots surrounding you, which makes your downfall inevitable, and no one replaces you, because anyone who had the charisma or the nous to take the reins over from what you're doing. JD Vance wouldn't last 2 weeks, I don't reckon. Sorry, no. Go on.
And did you see Rory Stewart on the Jon Stewart podcast this week?
No. The meeting of the Stewarts.
Stewart brothers.
Fought to the death.
It's nice. Like a 1 hour interview, and it's really good, actually. I thought it was really, really informative. But Rory Stewart basically said, the big difference between Hitler and Trump is that Hitler didn't fuck up the world's economy. He made sure factories worked and trains ran on time and all that stuff, basically. And he said, I'm not saying that Hitler was good. I'm just saying that Trump is incompetent and he cannot run the country and is destroying the economy. And that will bite really quickly politically against him. Because what they talked a lot about what populists do, which is it is very easy to sit on the sidelines like we do and complain about any colour of government. And say they're not getting it done, they're not doing the job, etc. And that's what, Josh, we're seeing in the figures for reform at the moment. I think they're playing the card of, look, you've had Tories and you've had Labour. Labour are no good as well. It's the immigrant problem, it's this problem, it's that problem. And they're not saying we've got solutions to any of it. They're just saying we're different. We're not these guys. We know what we're doing.
A bit of hope.
I too have that problem.
So the bit of hope is that combined still, Reform and the Tories, 45%, right? So like most of the country are not there for it. This is still the thing. Like, it's not like there is this lurch to the far right. It isn't at all. And in fact, between 2019 and 2024, which is when we saw that lurch, right, the right-wing vote combined is down 25% between those elections. Like, this is just not who the country is. Like, if they really wanted to read the room, like you say, Mike, they would offer some real solutions. Because that's the way the Tories could have stayed in power as well. Right, it's just do anything good, just do something good, And it's not hard, is it? Right? But anyway, sorry.
And that was Rory Stewart's line. He said, well, he said the same thing, which is that, look, in principle, Doge is a good idea. Most people and almost anybody that's been in government and had to try and do something with a department with its millions of dollars available to it, most people sit there and go, hey, it's quite a good idea to sort of cut the civil service and get rid of all the inefficiency, etc.
I mean, I've been there as well.
Trump and Musk are just incompetent. They just don't know what they're doing.
I literally used to work in government procurement in the cabinet office, and I can tell you all about the real waste. Absolutely. So the sentiment, I agree. Absolutely. Anyway,
but you've got to have the political will and the ideas to actually do something.
The real waste is Trump going to play golf 4 or 5 days a week, and them having to pay for the Secret Service to be along.
Look, the Secret Service needs to have a 4-star dining experience every night. They need lobster every night. They need champagne room service every night, all at Mar-a-Lago, which conveniently I own. It is not a problem. It's not self-dealing. That's not why. That's the only way that place can stay open, is that I keep funneling in foreign dignitaries and federal workers and all these people, and I make them stay there. That's not the only way that place can stay open. It's totally not a cover. It's not a front. Why would you call it a front? It's not a front for a drug scheme. Like, why would you keep saying that, Graham?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no laundries at golf courses, are there? Like, I don't think that's a thing.
Something's getting washed. Something's getting cleaned.
Take grass stained pants home, don't you?
Well, yeah. I suppose Trump doesn't, because he gets through a few pants, doesn't he? Because he keeps shitting himself. So
let's not talk badly about those with afflicted bowels.
Okay, sorry.
I went off on a bit of a tangent about the local elections. Shall I tell you where we're at?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and like I don't want to dominate the whole conversation about this, but it's happening next week, and so got
to get in there.
That makes sense.
We're listening.
Yeah, so stopping the Tories, like I was saying, like the website before was called stopthetories.vote, right? It did exactly what it said on the tin, as they say, and but are they the real threat right now, and is that the real thing? And I think that's the issue that we've been trying to work out. It's like, well, we did stop the Tories, so like we can't just run with that again. And at the same time, we have a new government as well, and there's people, we have frustrations with that new government, and I'm obviously putting that very mildly, right? There's a lot of very, very valid things that people should be very angry about with this government, as we know. So like just simply having this message of, well, we've just got to keep out reform and just got to keep out the Tories is a very, very difficult thing. And I suppose, what we're trying to do is play both games at once. We've got to keep out the far right, because it's end of days if they get power again. Like I get pushback for this, but like this is the general statement, isn't it? Us and Canada and maybe Japan are like the only liberal governments left almost with any kind of influence around the world. And I say that, knowing that actually our current government is not necessarily what people would call liberal, right? But we're certainly not far right.
Well, I'll say there's some countries in Europe. Did you mention the countries in
Europe?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. So, but I mean, they've all had their own issues, right, as well. So the point is, if every country that falls just makes them bolder, and we're seeing that with what's going on in America at the moment. With Project 2025, it's just basically a list. It's a coup to do list, isn't it? Essentially, we will see the same here if Reform get power. But right, how do we then also, point at this current government and say, but you need to be much, much better, without it just being a flat endorsement of them by saying, well, we've got to keep out reform. And this is the bind that I think so many of us are in. And of course, partly that's to do with the way that our elections work, because we have a two-party system that pretends it's a multi-party system, essentially. What if we had an actual multi-party system? We wouldn't have this binary choice. So again, what we're trying to do is, firstly to say, well, actually, in a lot of places, there are other choices, right? So we do recommend Lib Dems, Greens, and for the very first time, we're recommending a bunch of independents now as well, which I'm really proud of. Like we've done, like, it's a ridiculous amount of work to try and look at independents and who they really are and whether you should vote for them.
I was going to say that you've done some in-depth research on.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's seat by seat, candidate by candidate. That we have a data team that's it's been like, well, a Herculean kind of effort.
I mean, thank you for that, Josh, because I think when anyone sees an independent on the ballot, it's almost impossible to tell anything about them.
Totally. And we've only done the first step of this, but I think over the next few years, we really should do a lot more work on that. And what I would really love to do, I mean, did you all see the primary that happened during the last election in South?
I heard about it. Was Liz Webster working that? She was doing. Was Liz
Webster? It was Anthea Simon.
Anthea.
And and
so
her team.
Before you go on, Josh, can I just ask? It is still stopthetories.vote.
Well,
because I went there and I put in my.
It is still there. That does still work, but we're going to launch another brand that might be very easy to guess.
Stop refuck. Fuck refuck.
We're literally doing the last testing now. I'm glancing over here at WhatsApp because I'm
getting. But when that goes live, will the Stop the Tories site redirect to it?
They'll both be there. They'll both be there. So they're mirrors. Yeah.
It's just I've got an animation that says "Stop the Tories." Vote. So I was just going to leave.
It'll work. Don't worry. It'll work.
Okay. Yeah. It'll work. Before we go on, Umka, thank you very much for the €5 super chat. Brits and Americans, get rid of your winner take it all election systems. Those systems are like a pendulum swinging between extremes. Yeah, they are. But the thing is, it's a reactionary thing, so that you get a further left group in, and then the response is you get a further right group in quite a lot of the time. It's why I don't really understand why centralist is such an insult, because it just means that you're not veering from one extreme to the other. Because when the extreme left are in, great, they'll do all the stuff that I want them to do. They'll bring in UBI, we'll rejoin the EU, we'll do all this, but then the reaction to that will be the extreme right getting in, and it'll be bloody awful. So you think about, we had George W. Bush. If it wasn't for George W. Bush being president, do you think we would have got Obama?
But then what did we get from Obama? So that swing isn't useful, is it? Right. So do you know what I mean?
The problem with the centre, it's the Overton window, isn't it? Because the problem with the centre is it moves as politics moves left and right. Obama comes in as a Tory, effectively, as a conservative.
Yeah, I mean, even Bernie is basically like John Major, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the challenge to that, and
actually, sorry, Rory Stewart today in that interview described himself, his politics, as being slightly left of Hillary Clinton. And that's an ex-Tory minister describing himself as more left than the Democrats.
Americans have conservatives and Nazis. It's a conservative party and the Nazi party.
I have opinions about Rory Stewart. Oh God. But there's a fourth option, right? So it's not left or right or middle, and that's the progressive thing. And the progressive.
Are we going to play 4D chess?
No, not at all. It's quite simple. The progressive idea is basically inclusivity, right? And that's essentially it. And then you've got democratic socialism and all that kind of stuff. So whatever labels you want to put on it, it's about doing good things for everybody rather than picking sides. And about creating thriving policy and all that stuff. I can name lots and lots of progressive policies. Yeah, UBI came up a few minutes ago. That's a progressive policy, I think.
But something that was proposed in America, Josh.
Say again?
It was something that was proposed in America by Richard
Andrew
Nixon.
Yang. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But there you go.
And PR is supported by right-wing parties, like Refuck support PR.
For now, yeah, I have doubts about whether they will continue to. But the thing is that
once they're in power.
The right-wing candidates and politicians and parties actually offer what we might call left or progressive policy, because they actually know that that's what people really want, and then they just lie about their intention to do it, right? And the proof that I keep bringing up about that is Brexit, right? Brexit was mainly ran on the NHS, a progressive left idea, right? Why did they do it on that? It's because they know the electorate is progressive or left or centre left or whatever label you want to put on it, but they're not right-wing. If they'd run it purely on racism, they would not have won, would they? Because the country isn't racist. Do you see what I mean?
That's why they pushed Farage out of the main group, didn't they? Out of the Leave organisation. They didn't want him anywhere near it. Dominic Cummings knew it was a disaster.
Very clever. Yeah. But I mean, so the other thing to kind of think about is how Bernie would have pulled a lot more Trump voters if he was the candidate than Hillary did. Because they essentially were speaking to the same people.
But not necessarily Trump. Well, people who voted for Trump, but not natural Trump voters, like we were saying before.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't care about politics, but they're like, oh, wow, someone's saying something different. They're going to clean the swamp. I'm going to vote for the first time in my life. Brexit was the same thing. A million people who'd never voted before in their entire lives voted for the Brexit referendum.
So
they felt they could change something.
So if the right wing run and win, right, on progressive ideas, and they do that because the progressive ideas are the popular ideas, and the parties that traditionally offer those popular ideas are already in the majority. Why the hell aren't those parties running on those progressive ideas as well? Like, it's this weird conundrum, isn't it? And the answer is they need to appeal to the people that the Daily Mail is appealing to, because they think that that's going to help them win elections.
That's the thing that's the thing that I finally lost it publicly with the Labour Party this week. I just think, why are you pissing about in that swamp, basically, of these declaring themselves anti-trans, West Streeting running around cheerleading for J.K. Rowling this week.
They could make their own ecosystem. That's the most frustrating thing, and we've gone on and on about it on this channel. Why don't they create their own bloody ecosystem here on YouTube, celebrating its 20th anniversary this week? It's been around for 20 fucking years, and Labour's still like, oh, we'll just put a random video on there, once every 4 years, and it could be Keir Starmer, who's the most boring man ever invented, standing there going, these are all the things that Labour have done.
It's not only that, they spend a fortune on the videos, don't they?
I know, and they get 450 views. There's more people watching this now than watch their fucking videos that they spent 50 grand shooting on, Canon bloody set 70s or whatever. It's ridiculous. Show my age there, won't I? Davy Crockett says, I missed the Obama years. It was positive times. Yeah, they were. I mean, it wasn't perfect.
Especially if you were selling drone missiles.
Yeah.
And you were also really having good times.
The Copenhagen Climate Summit, the COP 2009, I think it was. I think it was COP 2009. That was supposed to be the be all and end all. That was supposed to be the one that was actually going to change things. And it didn't. So
should have showed up at the midterms, eh? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? 2010, after that, it was kind of over.
My controversial view on Obama was he just had to survive 2 terms, not get shot, basically.
We've got some people in the chat. I've got some important messages to read out. Diz, streeting is a disgrace, which is a bit lame. But then we've got Pygmalion, better, streeting is a dick. And then Kirsty, quite correctly, stating streeting is a piece of crap. So there you go.
Very important stuff.
Yeah.
There's a mixed set of opinions about West Streeting.
I got one. Person impersonator says, I would love to run a campaign called Don't Be a Twat and target Labor. Reeves used to be my MP. I had to move to avoid her school prefect vibe. Shout out to air horns for person impersonator.
I just want to say to Kirsty as well, I saw Ben this week and Ben told me you said some kind words about me. So thanks very much, Kirsty. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Labour are going to get battered, mate, on Thursday. But the thing is, I think there's more Tory councillors up for grabs.
I was going to say, in a way, it still is stop the Tories because the incumbent councillors are Tories. Not that most people pay attention, but it's the 2019 intake, isn't it? So it's the largest Tory set of councillors.
It's a weird election because there's been a bunch cancelled as well because there's like some reforms going on that are going to be merging some councils for next time. So there's fewer elections. There's also some mayors up, and there's also a by-election for Runcorn as well, right, for Parliament. So there are other things going on, and there's loads of council by-elections too. So some places just have like one ward with one candidate up, but they're all going to be listed on the website. I mean, this is going to be full of spoilers, isn't it? But you get an exclusive, Graham. So I think there's going to be probably more Lib Dem candidates that we're proposing this time than any other party. So that's a first. Mainly our goal is to reduce the reform gains more than anything. We're not really that bothered too much about everything else that happens. Things will happen, right? But so we need to have some sort of focus. And the reason we want to reduce the reform gains is, again, quite boring and technical, but the fewer councillors a party has, the less support they have when it comes to a general election to get people going out or knocking and that kind of thing. So this is all about limiting reform for 2028 when they need support from councillors who will go out door knocking because they want to keep their seats as well. So if there are fewer of them, that's a good thing looking ahead as well. I mean, this is the thing, we have to look multiple cycle. We can't just be looking at it right in front of us. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I can carry on.
We've got a Darren. A Darren has entered the chat. We can hear you, Darren. Can you hear us? Coming in. Come in,
I don't
Daily
think he can hear
Blase.
himself doing his sound check there.
Doing his sound check.
Just
Hello?
struggling with my earphones. I do apologise.
Okay, that's all right. Have you got them on upside down, inside out? Can't hear us. Come on. Come in. Can you hear me, mother? Can you hear me?
So,
Yes,
Pour
Josh,
the water out.
Josh, do you think that the Lib Dems are going to do well?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean they did well in the general election. I mean part of what we make the recommendations on is also what's been going on in that area in other elections as well. So you know you look at the MP that won and you know the history there, and you have to take that into account. So we got a slightly different methodology. There's like this really big algorithm that looks at all sorts of different things, and quite but bits of that are manual as well. So yeah, when you look at the Lib Dem gains at the general election, which was the biggest number of seats they've had ever. I think we recommended 108 Lib Dems and they got 72, didn't they, or something like
They only
that?
got 81.
Yeah, 80.
Was
Yeah,
it
it's
81?
isn't
Got
it?
81.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I think
That's
it
what I
was?
mean. Like, the Tories got 121. They got 81, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why it's 20. Like if 20 seats had gone the other way, the Lib Dems would be the official opposition, which would be amazing. Hey, Darren, can you hear us now? Oh no, now your mic's off. You're muted.
carry on.
Sort it. We could hear you
Can you hear me
before.
now?
Now we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank
That was
God
so
for
great.
that.
Darren Thompson in the house. Daily Blase. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, you know.
Representing.
Yeah, plodding on as you do, as you do.
Blase in the building.
Yeah.
How's things in sunny Yorkshire?
Well, you know, it is what it is. He's in Bradford. I totally agree with Phil when he talked about Leeds being quite feral. Yeah.
Sorry, I feel really bad. Like there's gonna be people watching this from Leeds telling us like, "What are you saying? We're quite feral," and I'm laughing at the fact that the Leeds festival always ends in a riot, and it's like it's
But
the only one. Scott, you've been to Download, right?
Loads and
Has it ever ended in a riot?
Once.
Once. Oh, has it? Oh, what year was that?
They're typing away at you right now, Graham, with their fists so angry. Like, we're civilized.
Don't riot. You say we riot. We'll break into your van and steal all your beer.
I don't know where that is. So sorry I made fun of you guys, but it was right there. And
That's okay. I don't think anyone's gonna get too upset.
Yeah, exactly. But what
come
we'll
over
say
to
is,
come over to America and do something about it. I didn't think so.
No
one's going. I could talk. All
None of us
the
are coming
shit.
to America, Mike.
Yeah.
I can talk
We'll
all
help
the
you.
shit.
We'll help
now,
you get
'cause
out.
yeah.
We're not coming over.
Please.
Smuggle you out. We're not going in.
I need you guys to lift your ban on small boats for just a little bit because we're coming.
Create some safe routes, right?
We need the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria be coming over from America. Like, yo, we got a couple of returns.
Well, I've said this a few times. It's such an opportunity to poach the brightest and the best from America, which would include
Come get
Mikey,
us.
Clearly,
Come get us.
yeah,
Scoop us up.
Roll out the red carpet. Get over here.
Get the little green net, and then a bag, and then just tie it over, and then just bring us over.
Yeah,
and put us in that pond.
Come escape your capitalist utopia.
Hey,
It's funny when you say that. I was reading this week that. Sorry, Scott.
Okay, I was just saying. I found the story about the riot at Download Festival.
What year was it?
2006. I'm literally looking at BBC.
That's a
Oh
good
shit! I
year.
was there 2005. I missed it by 1 year. God damn it!
And this is
Wrong
this is
summer,
how much
dude.
this is how much the heavy metal crowd liked to riot. 12 people were detained after trouble broke out overnight at a rock festival.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was obviously a huge deal.
A rock festively.
Yeah.
No one got arrested at Leeds because they wouldn't call the police because they didn't want to lose the license. So they just
They
got the
wouldn't be
private
grasped
security guys to turn up, and the private security guys would just go, "Ah, there's too many people rioting. We're just gonna go." They just like walked off and went to the bar, and everyone else just
I
fight it
have
out.
been at 2005. I was at Reading Festival, and we camped. And camping at Reading Festival is literally the worst experience you'll ever have in your entire life. Kids are crazy. They like to blow up deodorant cans and fires. They like to throw breeze blocks at tents in the middle of the night. They like to, do really awful and horrible shit. Yeah, awful. Never again.
Scott, Scott, I just done my own research. I was there in 2006.
You know what,
Well,
Graham?
that explains things. I didn't see a riot.
You know what happened, Graham? I was there in 2006 as well. That was my first
Were you?
download.
I'll have to show you my video.
That's when they first kissed.
I wish.
At Blink
funny 'cause it's
182.
Yeah.
It was no, that year it was
Bullet for My
Tool.
Valentine was just closing their set.
particularly twatty.
The headliners were
It was Bullet,
Tool,
right?
Tool, Metallica, Roses.
Oh, this was before it got cool.
Yeah. The
That's
first
good.
kiss under November rain.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys had a riot with everybody. I'm surprised you guys had a riot with all the artificial knees in the fucking crowd for that show. Jesus Christ. Metallica, GNR, and let me guess, the Beatles reunion? Like, what is this?
Metallica and Tool. Tool were the modern band that weekend.
Yeah, Tool was just like, they had
I wouldn't
Schism
say they
out.
are now, but yeah, that was the modern band of the weekend.
Tool was that metal band was like, hey, instead of like keeping 4/4 time signature, let's go get the D&D set, roll a D20, and we'll just alternate every 7 measures, and we'll just sell this to people. It is complete gobbledygook, but it is so fun to listen to.
And we will do it all in 10-minute songs.
And how did they get popular with odd meter, 10-minute songs? I will never understand it.
I mean, I'm a massive
I love
fan.
Tool. I love Tool. They just, I don't understand why people, like, you know what I mean? Like,
They're
I
not
can
a
understand.
commercial band.
Yeah, I could get them liking Disturbed. You know, Disturbed is very in-your-face, punchy, kind of on-the-surface
David
metal.
Draymond being a massive Zionist.
Yeah, he wasn't back then.
No, he still is.
Well, he is now.
No, he wasn't. No, he
so
wasn't
much-
back then. No.
Yeah.
But
or Slipknot had its appeal because the songs were short and catchy and very chaotic.
Yeah.
How the hell does he get them to sit down and meditate for 14 minutes to a damn cymbal solo? I don't get it, but they love it.
Yeah, Tool fans are a different breed.
Truth.
I was just checking the video, mate. I was just watching the video back while I was, because I've got a video of us at the festival at 2006, right?
No.
And we were
Must look so
only
young.
there for the day because our mate's band were playing.
Which band were they?
This is the bad thing now.
Oh, you
I can't remember
forgot
the name
their
of the bloody
band.
I hope he's not watching.
I
You
hope
didn't
he
go
is
see him in the
watching.
end.
What?
You went to the festival. You went all the way to
Corn.
Donington to not see your friend band.
Is it GNR playing as well?
GNR played, yes, on the Sunday.
Trivium.
I can't wait for Trivium.
Yeah.
I remember
Beautiful
them.
friend. The Proj were on.
Yeah, they were.
God, that was a good gig there.
I am seeing
as soon as you
Trivium
tell me-
actually in August.
As soon as you
So-
tell me what this band's name is, I'm gonna look up all of the people on it. I'm gonna find their social media. I'm like, hey, you don't know me,
Graham
but
forgot the name
Graham,
of your
Graham
band.
forgot.
Graham does
you
not
are.
remember.
They got me
your
in.
band's
They got me into the gig, and then I bloody didn't
Yeah.
remember
He
the
used their
name.
guest list
Yeah.
to see Guns N' Roses.
I'm looking at the list here.
Just blame COVID. Like, you know, my
Yeah.
memory is just all fried from COVID. You know,
They were so unforgettable. They were forgettable.
that's
Yeah,
probably their name, the Unforgettables.
you know, you can just go onto the download website and look up download 2006. You'll get the whole full poster.
Remember Us Forever, the band.
Yeah. The one and only.
I actually.
Graham's our best
No,
friend.
I'm
the
the
band.
You know what I had?
Amplifier. It was Amplifier. Sorry, I don't know why I forgot that.
Amplifier. Oh,
Amplifier.
How you
Neil
spell
Mahoney used to be a member of them. He's left, so he's not part of the band anymore. So it's okay.
How do you
Oh my
spell
God.
amplifier?
God,
Is it
that was-
like, does it have like
Well,
Y's
unless
in it
it-
and stuff?
Unless he left
No.
the band because all the comp tickets he gave out, he never actually. Nobody remembers. Nobody
Great
downloaded
for
them
a
afterwards.
really long
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah,
Maybe.
so I like give him a
Have
subtle
a
hint.
full.
Is that that's the poster there? Okay, so under Tool,
Holy shit.
under Tool. One of the names is Amplifier.
Scott, can we just commend you on your filing system?
That is awesome.
Holy
I love the
shit.
fact that you just pulled that out. That is
Well
the
done,
2006 Download Festival.
Yeah.
God, what a lineup.
I don't know if I'll find a frame big enough. This is the problem. It's
They can make
huge.
'em.
It's big. It's
Yeah, I could
It's
get one.
about the
That
same
it'd probably
height.
fit in one of those IKEA frames?
I can't hear you because I got the ear.
Oh, yeah, I got the ears in. Right.
Why are we yelling like he could hear us? We're so stupid.
Can you hear me? Darren
Yeah, we're
Christian
so
has just
dumb.
dropped £2 in the super chat. Hoping Bantams beat Donny tomorrow.
Yes, come on.
How do you feel about that, Mikey?
I'm having kittens.
What?
Mikey,
Sorry, are we on
I was looking up
Bantams.
amplifier.
Are we on to
I'm
soccer
having-
ball now?
Darren is hoping that the Bantams beat Donny tomorrow. I'm
Are we
thinking
still
it
on
means-
music?
Is
Is the
Bantam
Bantams
like
a
large
heavy metal
chicken?
band? Are the Bantams a heavy metal band and Donny Osmond?
Donny's Donald Trump. They're gonna beat
Yes.
him to death.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I am for all Donnies being beaten.
Yes,
All of them.
absolutely.
All right, Scott, can you hear us again?
Yes.
The band was Amplifier. They're on the Friday night.
Do you have a song called Neon?
They're under Tool. You got Tool,
Is it
Deftones,
3 of them?
Coheed and Cambria. I once did an interview with
Oh, I
Coheed and
love them.
Cambria, and I made.
Are
a
you
joke.
kidding me?
Yeah, I made a joke,
Oh,
and it was about how rock and roll girlfriends. You don't want them to turn out to be a Yoko Ono, do you? And they got really shitty with me, and they wouldn't answer any more questions. I thought, oh god, there's something gone horribly wrong.
That's because one of the former band members get involved with the teenage girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
What?
I
No,
said
that's what
Yoko
they-
Ono. I wasn't talking about,
No, but there was definitely something with a band member from Coheed and Cambria. They kicked him out because he got himself into a little bit of bother. With someone I think who was underage.
We gotta
I
hope
was-
Scott's rolling up his poster there because
I know,
the
it's
visuals
taking
were not
fucking forever
good.
'cause It's so huge.
I interviewed them for the.
It was basically just something going on down here, Scott.
Yes.
I interviewed them for the BBC website, and I never published the interview
Why
because it went a
not?
bit
They're
south.
assholes.
Well, I don't know, they seemed all right, but there was a question about girlfriends on tour or something, and I cracked a joke because it was in Liverpool at the time. They were doing a gig in Liverpool. And I cracked a joke about Yoko Ono, and they all got a bit moody with me. So I don't know if someone in the band had said something about a girlfriend who was hanging out in the recording studio or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll have to. I'll watch if we filmed it, I'll have to watch the recording back and see what it was that I said. I hate watching stuff back from 20 years ago. I just go, oh, you stupid twat, Graham. I want to get into like a little time machine. I need to borrow Rachel's time machine and give myself a slap.
I'm seeing a
Rachel's
couple of
time
different
machine.
things, but I'm not seeing that. Are you sure it was Coheed?
Yeah, I was pretty sure about that. Coheed got themselves into a little bit of bother with one of their former members.
It ain't easy being
think,
Wheezy is saying, I interviewed the Wannadies, the lead singer was a complete tool.
Scott, I think that was the lawyer on the phone. I think we need to be careful with Mikey can't find any evidence.
I was pretty sure about that. Coheed.
Yeah, so I missed your pre-Tories when live music was commonly amazing. Yes, it was one of the many things that the Tories just came along and ruined.
All the incentive is gone.
Yeah,
All the good people are studio musicians now. They don't make
I was
bands
gonna
anymore. They just make stuff solo, and they just
I think
just instrument.
lot
They
of
just
solo.
write their own stuff, and they just put it all out by themselves.
yeah.
And I think the music industry and Spotify have done as much damage as the Tories to the music industry.
No. Just while I remember, I think the Glastonbury tickets go on resale on Sunday at 9:00. So I won't be able to do Sunday service at 9:00 on Sunday, but we'll do something special instead, I think. Anyway, so yeah, where were we? There's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Sorry, Josh, we went completely off topic there
Oh, good.
by the
I'm not going
Download
anywhere.
Festival like 20 years ago.
I'll tell you about Glastonbury in the 90s as well if you want.
Yeah.
But I was only 13, so like very different.
What year did you go?
Oh god, I think the first time I went was probably about 89, 90.
Oh,
Something like
wow.
that.
Wow, that's really
Yeah,
early.
yeah.
My
I used to-
first one was 1997.
Your first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean quite a different experience, obviously.
And a bit of an awkward moment the other week because Mark Hamilton from the band's a mate of ours, and we were talking about Glastonbury because they're playing this year, and he said something like, I think we've played 8 times, like Ash have played
Wow.
8 times, and I'm like, I think you played in 1995, but I never saw you because I didn't go in 1995. And he went, we played in 97 as well. You know, we headlined because someone else was supposed to be headlining on the Sunday, and they ended up headlining instead because they couldn't get onto the field because there was so much mud. I couldn't get onto the site, sorry, because there was so much mud. The people who were supposed to be on, they were on like the Friday on the other stage, and then they were asked to headline. And Mark from the band became the youngest person to ever headline Glastonbury. And so when Billie Eilish headlined Glastonbury a couple of years ago, the BBC were like, "This is the youngest person ever to headline Glastonbury," and Ash were like, no. Mark was 3 months younger than her.
We do know that they absolutely messed up when they said Stormzy was the first person of color to ever headline Glastonbury, and then everybody thought it was Beyonce, but it wasn't. It was Skin from Skunk Anansie in 1999.
Yeah,
Stormzy actually apologized to her on Twitter.
Did Guns N' Roses ever play there?
Yeah, they played a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Slash is of color.
I think it has to be like the main artist. Well, no, he's in the band. But Skin was the first person of color to headline.
Yeah, and Block Party.
Yeah.
They played.
That would have been later on, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw.
So having tried to get us back to the local elections and Josh's
I saw Jimmy Cliff
website.
Glastonbury. Anyway, go on. Sorry, local elections. This is saying I was at Glastonbury 97. God, it was a mudfest, wasn't it? And then a year later, 98, that was a mudfest as well. And I've got a mate who went to both of those festivals and never went out ever again.
Josh, are there local elections in Glastonbury over the next 7 days?
God, what would be the council name?
I don't know, is it Oxfordshire? Where's Glastonbury?
Yeah, so Oxfordshire. Yeah, there is Oxfordshire.
What?
Where is Glastonbury?
Oxfordshire? You on crack? It's in Somerset.
It's in Somerset, yeah.
It's in Somerset,
right.
I think.
Yeah, so
that's got to be a Lib Dem.
awful.
That's got to be a Lib Dem seat, surely.
Mate, you're
Correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, that's in
down that
Somerset.
neck of the woods. We don't know anything about things.
I don't leave Brighton. Why would you leave Brighton?
Yeah, it's mild. I mean, it takes like 6 hours to get down there.
I believe there are other towns down here, but I don't go to them. Why would you do that?
It's
what I
interesting
want to
to me
know.
that
What I want to know is how is Mike's hair so perfect and his beard so perfect and his glasses so perfect and he lives in Brighton but he's not gay? How does that work?
Hey, what about me?
they only get one.
Spend a night with
I'm
me.
I'm the only straight in the village. That's the way it works.
Again, what about me?
Josh, and what about you?
Josh?
Josh, you're straight?
What?
Josh is in Brighton.
What? No, Josh is straight? What?
Josh is
What are you
straight?
doing in Brighton, Josh?
What are you doing in Brighton being straight, Josh?
I know, right? It's weird. Yeah.
When was the last time you were straight? What are you talking about? I thought you were a big homosexual.
A minute ago, I guess, probably the last time. Yeah.
Joking. I didn't care about your sexuality.
I got a meter installed. I'm good.
What? What? What's
A meter?
A meter?
Like he's got a gay meter.
It's got a gayometer.
Yeah.
Gayometer.
I was more concerned about the lack of compliment for my beard, but I understand. Mike.
Oh, sorry, Josh, your beard is lovely, Josh.
It is a lovely beard.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's very nice and heterosexual.
Right. And the word you're looking for is lazy.
Josh
Very
is
lazy.
seeking affirmation in the comments, if you
Yeah.
could, please.
Please be nice about Josh's beard in the comments.
Nice straight
All
man
the
beard.
gay guys in the compliment. Give him a compliment.
Straight man beard is often lazy man beard as well. It's
His erection.
definitely my strategy.
But
My wife calls mine a hobo beard. So get it shaved off, you look like a hobo.
well, I find it kind of interesting, like you know, Glastonbury. People always go on about how it's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. That's what it used to be. But people used to say that in the 90s. When I first started going to Glastonbury, people were like, "Oh, it's not what it used to be." It's like the Viz isn't as funny as it used to be, but it kind of is. It's just
The reality is that the people saying it are not who they used to be.
Yes. But it's always been a posh festival for middle class people.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, both Michael and Emily Evers are both on the private school mafia list. Just saying.
I mean, a lot of festivals are, aren't they? Because I mean, it's just become a very difficult, expensive thing to do, and of course,
can't
get
afford
tickets
them
for
now.
as well, right? So
Yeah.
People turn up in their 4x4s, drop their kids off at Reading for a weekend, drive off again, basically. So.
And that's why Reading isn't a city.
Somerset elections 2027, I'm afraid. So.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh yeah, but hang on. There is going to be an election. There's going to be a by-election because there's a Labour MP who's gone to jail or something or been arrested in Rees-Mogg's old haunt.
Oh, yeah. Has he resigned yet? I wasn't sure.
He's got to, I think, by the looks of things. It's a bit grim.
No, you're right. So that might come up. I mean, often what will happen if they can squeeze in a by-election when there's another election going on, they'll do it at the same time. But they need to give a certain amount of notice as well, of course.
Yeah.
For local authority, because the local councils run all elections, including the general elections.
Yeah.
And they need time to prepare. And if there's an election coming up, they'll squeeze it in. But if it's like a time period that ends up being a week after that one, they won't. They'll do it like later, because otherwise it's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So the big comeback for the haunted wardrobe.
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? By the way, Josh, Max Starmer Headroom has
Super beard.
says, "Super beard, Josh. I'm your beard's biggest fan." There you go, Josh.
There you go.
Getting some love for your beard there, man.
Thank you.
It's all good.
I needed that.
I need a translation. My very first concert was the sensational Alex Harvey band at the Guildhall, Portsmouth. 'Twas very good, and that's from Jan over in France.
That must have been a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of those places or things are.
It's in the 1970s.
I know what a port is.
It's a venue in Southampton.
I know what port means. I don't know what any of the rest of the words mean.
I don't know the band though. She's
I was going to say there was a name of a band in there, but yeah.
What is an Alex Harvey?
Never heard of him.
Nope.
I'm not going to show my age by saying I do know of that band.
Max is saying ticket prices sure ain't what they used to be for sure. Yeah, they used to be quite cheap. I get quite jealous when you see like tickets for like Led Zeppelin playing the Astoria somewhere for like £2.50. It's like this little tiny ticket from 1972.
Person impersonator says on mine, it says in 1978 the adverts, what, £1.50? Sheesh, those were the days. Like, can you imagine seeing a whole concert for $1.50? Wow.
Yeah. Well, life was cheaper then.
There's a great
I was
video.
watching something about the. Sorry, Scott.
There was a great video I saw, I think, on Instagram. There was Kurt Cobain being interviewed, and someone said to him, "So Madonna's charging $50." He was like, $50 to see Madonna? That's ridiculous.
You guys hear this?
No, that's cheap now.
Yeah.
There was on The Rest Is History this week. They were doing something about the Rolling Stones, and they said that within a year of forming the band, they were in Times Square with a huge, great poster advertising their next concert, and then they flew back to play the Odeon Cinema and Theatre in Thurrock the next day. Basically, and you just go, those are the days when you could just open in New York, launch your new album, and the next day you're just in Thurrock playing in an old cinema.
Love it. Can we get back onto a little bit of politics?
Yeah.
Does anyone mind?
Why not?
I want to talk about Trump and his rude awakening this week and
Veto.
Russia. And
I think it's all game.
Vlad, stop it, Vlad. Vlad, you said you wouldn't bomb them, Vlad. Oh!
It is hysterical that he came for Zelensky again this week, and then Vlad decided he was going to drop some big, huge bomb, and then sent an envoy straight to Moscow. So we know the side of his bread is buttered. Really, I still think he is still swinging for the Russians and
compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, the offer as well, right?
And compromised.
Aren't like military people in America who like swore allegiance to the flag or the Constitution or whatever? Aren't they getting a bit like cold feet about this whole thing of like maybe fighting alongside Russians to kill Canadians? Are they a bit gung ho about it, or are they like, what the fuck, man?
The Pentagon is on fire right now due to Hegseth and his complete lack of maturity. The job is too big for him. He's insecure. You know what I mean? Like he's yelling at everybody. He's completely out of control.
Is he also pissed as well?
Yeah. And he's like, he just like, instead of prioritizing national security, he's making sure they add a powder room into the Pentagon so that he can do his TV shots. You know,
powder room.
Yeah, so he could
$50,000 or something they're spending.
Well,
on
he's got a
hair salon, aren't they?
There was
so he can get his hair and makpe done. So when he does Fox News,
off.
50 grand.
Sorry, I'm turning to Wayne there for a second. That
I saw a
is so
supercut of
stupid.
I saw a supercut of Hexef on stage, like giving a talk at a podium, and like drinking a whiskey or something, and like the supercut was every time he took a sip, and it was like sip after sip after sip.
Yeah.
You know, so apparently he's just fucking, you know, wasted all the time basically as well.
Lush.
Like
That's why
topping himself
he
up
just
basically.
adds people to his WhatsApp group, his
Group
signal
chats.
group.
Yeah,
Like,
signal group, signals.
it's drunk texting. That's what he's literally doing. The guy in charge of the American defense is drunk texting his mates.
So-
Guess what? We're gonna bomb these people. I'm like,
So that's
I
Good
would
time to
rip
party.
seven
when it comes-
shades of shit out of these motherfuckers if they came on my TV show and I was interviewing them. They get interviewed on the TV in America. I've seen the interviews and they're like,
It's all softball.
would you like to say something to the people, Mr. Hexeth? And he goes, oh, you know, I wasn't drunk. And I'm like, yeah, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And you're like,
This is the thing,
It's all
like
softballs. They all throw them.
how the media, you know, around the world here as well, you know, treat all these people as if they're legitimate, sensible human beings. It's just bonkers. You know,
because they're not.
it's because got to be fair and balanced. Got to treat them all the same. It's like, but they're not all the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would
Some of them are
absolutely
stupid,
love.
and we have to show them that they're stupid. We have to show
Some
the
are
people
dumb.
Yeah.
that
But
some of them are not smart.
I would love to see a presenter just kick off on a politician on this side of the Atlantic or the other and just absolutely say, no, you just lied. Sorry, stop. You just told a lie. That's disrespectful to me. It's disrespectful to everyone who's watching this. I want you to apologise or we're not going on with this interview. And just leave it
hasn't
hanging there.
Victoria Derbyshire done that recently on Sky with
Victoria
some of the
Derbyshire's quite
American
good.
Morons.
Yeah, but she's not been like, get out, you know. I think there was,
No, she hasn't gotten indignant, but she's been letting them use their own rope. If you know what I mean.
but that's what they do. I'd rather they just gave them down the banks and said, "How dare you come on my show and lie to all my audience?"
I would
Trouble
like
is,
also. Sorry,
I think
go on.
Ian Dale did it recently on LBC with that weirdo that is the UK sort of like Trump.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Whereas Ian just went, "That's absolutely rubbish," and then the guy, in true MAGA fashion, tried to dictate the terms of the interview, and Ian went, No, this isn't your interview. This is my interview, and I will interrupt you if I want." And the guy was like, "Well, okay, well, we're not going to do the interview." And Ian went, "Okay, then." Anyway,
I don't think it was Ian, was it? It was
Ian Dale.
it was the guy
Who's
in
the old
afternoon,
one?
Ben,
That's Ian Dale.
because I thought it was Gorkin, and he cut him off.
Yes, that guy. That the weirdo. The weirdo Trumpian. Yeah.
I don't think it was Ian Dale that did it. It was Ben Kentish or somebody like
I
that.
think Gorka.
No, it was Ian Dale.
Oh, okay. But
I remember listening to it. It was in the evening. I was cooking dinner.
Who's the guy right before James O'Brien?
Oh, Nick
Ferrari,
Fascist Ferrari, yeah. The
Nick Fash.
reform lover. He is so up reform.
He did that.
Butthole.
He did that to somebody too, where
He
they
does it
wouldn't
all
answer.
the time. He's rude
Where
as
they
shit
wouldn't.
to.
They wouldn't
If
answer
they're
his
lefty,
question
if they-
directly, and he was like, "Oh, and goodbye."
No,
I'll let-
if they are a lefty, if they're a left-sided politician, he's rude as shit to them. Absolutely terrible. And then if they are of the right or reform, he softballs them. He gives them lovely little questions. Has a little chat with them. He's a total. It's
the funniest thing in the world to listen to both.
He's a Rush Limbaugh. He's a
Yeah. If you do the last half hour of Nick Ferrari and the first half hour of James O'Brien, you go, hang on, which parallel universe am I living in?
What radio
Because
station am I
half an
listening to?
hour ago, this was a massive problem, and
It's funny.
now it's
James
not.
James O'Brien, for the first hour of his show, always digs at Nick Ferrari. Always makes a dig. Never directly says anything, but basically something he has said in his narrative throughout the whole show. Yeah.
I was glad to actually hear James O'Brien for the first time ever do a call in about trans issues last week. First time ever. He normally shies away from it. James O'Brien defense. Trans issues aside.
Yeah, he actually was. I think he was actually starting to understand the issues that properly.
Those callers were amazing. The trans callers who called in were so good, really so eloquent, so calm and measured, clearly upset, but being able to put their case forward. And then when the TERFs called in, they sounded like the maddest bastards you'd ever hope to not meet.
Again, let them hang themselves. Whereas Sheila Fogarty, on the other flip side,
she was awful.
She was a complete TERF about the whole thing.
Yeah, she's super TERF.
Like, I just don't want men in women's spaces. I'm like, well, probably because she takes up so much of the women's space. No one else can get in.
Did you see the wonderful exchange between Dawn Butler and a conservative politician on
Simon
television?
Clark?
That was amazing.
And she shut him up, and it was wonderful.
So
the guy brain farted in the middle of that whole exchange. His brain went
glitched.
With the trans man.
She was Dawn Butler, Labour MP, was trying to explain to this Tory dickhead. Who was it? Scott, who was the Tory?
Simon Clark, I think.
Simon Clark. She's saying it makes it more dangerous for women because there are trans men who are biologically women, if you want to define it like that. They were born women, and you're going to force them to use the women's toilets. And so it's a lot easier for predatory men to say, I am a trans man. And this Tory MP, he just sort of shut down. He was like,
well, he said
no flash photography.
He was brilliant. He said, but this is it. We don't want biological men in women's spaces. And Dawn went, of course. But we're talking about trans men, females who have turned into men, who have transitioned to men. They will have to go into women's toilets. Mm-hmm. And he just went...
Glitch.
Yeah.
And this is
like Mitch McConnell did, when he sort of...
When Mitch McConnell decided that he was going to,
he was updating.
The netherworld.
He had to update.
And then it was...
a little circle going around.
He didn't know what to say. He lost it. He malfunctioned completely.
It's a classic example.
This is the argument that we keep putting forward. Sorry, Josh, that we keep putting forward. And sort of saying it runs both ways. TERFs forget that trans men exist. Or when they do or acknowledge trans men, they just called them females that have mutilated themselves or regaining male privilege. So they're almost all right with them. I think it's
time for a curveball. All the trans men should get on board with the bill and say yes.
Yeah, they are.
Just to creep them out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some trans men are saying, I'm going to grow my beard like a motherfucker now. I'm going to.
They're like, we're going straight into those toilets. We'll go into the toilets.
And the thing is, just like Brexit, just like everything else, that it doesn't affect the rich. Because J.K. Rowling doesn't need to use a public bathroom. She will never have to use a public bathroom for the rest of her days. She can pay people to carry around a fucking porta potty for her to piss in. That could be hers and made of gold.
Unless we give her a curse that makes her pee constantly.
That's where we have that.
Darren, go get my alchemy books. I've got an idea.
We had the super chat in a while ago from Kieran Cross, and thank you very much for the super chat, mate. That's very kind of you. I thought he was called Pete Kegsbreath. Well, you live and learn.
Yeah, Kegsbreath.
Kegsbreath.
Very good.
Yeah. I'll say, Graham, did you watch the ministerial statement this week about the trans thing?
I watched the debate on Tuesday, was it? At
yeah,
like 5:30.
I found it incredibly frustrating. But there was one MP, she said something that just basically waffed. It was Dame Meg Hellier when she said in one of her constituencies, she transitioned in the 70s, and she's used women toilets longer than she's used men. And she basically said, well, where does she go now?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that hit home for me. You think?
Yeah.
And
Dawn Butler stood up and said some good words. There was a few Labour MPs who actually
they give her more of a hard time than the Tories, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And it was weird for the Prime Minister's questions, how the pundits all started to go, well, Kemi Badenoch really had Keir Starmer on the ropes on this one. And it was just like, why? Because she was more transphobic than he was? Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just go to what a transphobe she is.
There's lots of examples of this around government, right? Where you know, they are reading paperwork, and then you know, they're not people that are affected by this, and they never have been, you know, and they're getting crap advice from people, or they're crap themselves, and you know, they come through it all and they go, yeah, no, we've made good decisions, and then you see the reality of it, and it's like, there are people asking each other for ID at the doors of toilets. Is this what you intended? You know, and this is just like a really in-your-face example, you know, where it's, you know, affects a already attacked community of people, of stuff that is just fucking every time with every policy as well, right? This is just symbolic of the way that government is done. They do not involve people in their policy making whatsoever. And this one, I think, you know, because they've made it in the headlines for so long, could really blow it all up. You know, they have made this a headline story themselves. You know,
but they
just needed to watch Ally McBeal and work out that we need toilets that we all share. I mean, it's like, you know, again, show my age. But
I remember Ally McBeal.
There's a good argument for that, just because of the you know, inherent sexism of architecture. All buildings have to look like a giant penis, and there has to be a queue for the women's toilets, because all architects are men. White men usually, and that's why we built the same buildings everywhere in the world.
More spaces for men to utilize the facilities than there are for women. Always.
Yeah, always.
It's funny. I did a post about this on Trumpton, and there was one woman who she commented, and she got a lot of people piling on her, which I never like, whatever your opinions, even if you're coming out with some tough stuff. But her main argument. Yeah, but I don't like the rudeness on the Trumpton account. It's not worth it. But her main argument was that she hates unisex toilets. She hates toilets that are shared, and everybody was saying that's kind of not the point. That's really not the point of this. You know, there's nothing in this law that prevents unisex toilets or shared toilets.
What about a train or a plane?
Yeah. Everyone made the argument.
Your own house.
She follows the argument that the least safe place for a woman to use the toilet is our own house, because it's shared by men, and men are the perpetrators of the most harm in your own house. But
white men,
she's fighting the fight.
Yeah,
white men. Yeah, Mikey's plan was the best solution, I think, to this.
It is the fastest, most effective solution.
And Josh, was that last week, wasn't it?
You have to put all men in jail, and then they have to prove that they can come out.
Yeah.
And then white men are banned from most public places because it just doesn't go well.
Yeah, I think next time, you're right. Next time there's a serial killer on the loose in your local area, do not advise the women to stay home at 10 o'clock. Advise all the men to stay home, because if you're out and about,
you must be the serial killing. Yeah, you're out there serial killing. That's why you're out. Where are your serial killing papers?
It's the thing, isn't it?
That I agree with.
the cliche that, you know, it's like, oh, not all men. It's like, yeah, okay, no, not all men, but at the same time, be suspicious of all men, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, the people coming in on the tiny boats are all bad, right? So men must be all bad, because I am dumb like they are. I'm equal amounts dumb. So I will apply their logic to women, and the only thing that can keep women safe is to lock up all the men. Sorry, guys. Present yourselves at the nearest station and be ready for your neck collars and pickaxes.
About the people that come off the boats anyway.
Scott, what's happened? Scott, you're all choppy.
This idea.
Scott, your internet's gone all tits up.
There we go. Oh, he's back.
Are you using Wayne's internet?
Maybe.
Scott did a fantastic impersonation of Norman Collier then.
Oh, well, I apologize. It's all very smooth here, so I don't understand.
Oh.
Ooh.
I
Yeah, but
don't
what
know-
about
I
the
don't know what happened,
connection?
sorry.
This
Hey.
episode brought to you by our friends at Manscaped.
Yeah, I had a shave earlier. Yeah, no,
Manscaped.
I've had no internet connection issues on my side, so I don't know what happened.
Can we talk a little bit about Trump and Putin? Since that was the title of this, is like basically if Putin
not?
commanded Trump to shit in his pants,
If you insist.
Trump totally would do that. Because this is just absolutely disgusting what's happened. This level of bootlicking, cowardice, betrayal. Trump says he's making peace. He's not. He's making excuses for fucking genocide. Like, this is an absolute monster of a man. Like, what?
This is what he meant by no wars. He meant complete capitulation to Russia. That's what he
Right.
meant.
Okay.
It sounded like I'm not going to fight any wars or do any blowing up of stuff, because he's doing that in Yemen.
a
Like,
coward.
we've been striking Yemen for like 60 days. So they're getting bombed to pieces. He still has no like war hawk blood on his hands. People still just act like, well, they were blocking the trading routes and that's what has to happen. But
Yeah.
he said he wasn't going to do any of that, and he's doing it anyway. And he's still sending over arms, and the war industrial complex is churning along just fine. So clearly something didn't stop.
But the thing is, chances are they'll be just basically reading whatever he puts on Truth Social, won't they? All his minions.
Yeah, but the minions are grown up, and this is so 1984. One of the big plot points in 1984 is there's three big groupings, isn't there? There's East Asia,
Eurasia.
Eurasia,
and the other one.
Oceania or something.
Oceania, yeah. And they're at war with one of them, and then towards the end of the book, they're at war with another one. And it's like, no, we've
and
always
they'd
been at war
always-
with them.
Yeah, exactly.
That must be what it'd be like for these rednecks in America who were like, I hate the Ruskies, girl, they really annoyed me in the Cold War. And now they're in like their 60s or 70s, and they're like, oh yeah, the Ruskies, they're our friends. It's Canada that you got to keep an eye on. And it's like, okay, we've always been at war with Oceania. How does it work? I mean, I don't get it.
I mean, the way that works is essentially Rush Limbaugh, right? Rush Limbaugh, he was one of the first, right? The radio commentator. I'm gonna say DJ, but he's not, right? Limbaugh, sorry, Limbaugh.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Americans.
No matter, he can't hear you anyway.
Tell us a lot more, but like, I mean, what's really happened is 40 years of talking bullshit on local radio, right? I mean, that's basically it, and all that's
Alex Jones
amplified. I saw a thing on that said something like, it only takes 150 minutes of TikTok to completely change someone's mind, right? 40 years of talk radio, I think, can change someone's mind if 150 minutes of TikTok can. And that's the plan, isn't it? I mean, this is why they've been buying up local news as well across America. It's why they've been killing local news here. It's
like Graham said earlier, it's 20 years of YouTube this year, isn't it? So,
and all
like everybody talks about it like it's a new phenomenon that's been eating away at people with its algorithms, but it's been going at it for 20 years.
If you look at the homepage of YouTube in incognito mode, you'll see exactly what everyone else sees, basically.
It's a good idea. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it's, Mr. Beast, all the Hustle Bros, right? And then various kind of like, that circle of conservatives that challenge a liberal kind of stuff, right?
It's all the Jubilee videos.
Yeah, it's all that kind of stuff, but it's
they're horrible.
And then
what's that one guy that's been running around the universities this week? Charlie Kirk.
Charlie
Kirk. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the original. He's Turning Point. He's the founder of Turning Point, and they are.
He's the founder of Turning Point, Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
Cool. So he allowed
university is trying to convert.
He allowed freedom of speech, didn't he? He took a load of difficult questions on campus, did he?
Yeah, he challenges.
I've only
younger than him.
I've only seen one difficult question he was confronted with, and she was hustled off by his bodyguards.
Yep.
Wow. Did you see also Tim Pool was in the White House press
that up, didn't he?
That was hilarious.
So who's Tim Pool?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Take off that hat.
So Tim Pool is one of the YouTubers that was funded by Russia. Evidence in court that they were funded by
I thought so. Okay.
the Russian government.
Is he Canadian?
10 of them altogether.
Is he Canadian or
No, he's American.
He's definitely
American, but there's a load of
well.
Canadians involved in it, weren't there?
He's definitely not bald. Definitely not.
No.
Just he wears hats for other reasons.
For other reasons, yeah.
I do have hair under there. It's just laid down.
Yeah.
I don't have hair under here.
It's like you said earlier, Graham, in terms of where was
his suit?
Yeah, exactly.
He wore a beanie into
where
the
is the
White
left-wing
House.
equivalent who could be funded by, China, for Christ's sake, and nobody would care?
Well,
this guy is funded by Russia, a right-wing idiot podcaster who wants to build a skate park, and he gets to go into the press room with Trump.
How dare you, Mike? He did build a skate park. You fix your words.
I'm not sure. We never opened to anybody, did it?
The moment Nazi Barbie...
It's on his property. It's his.
Yeah. The moment Nazi Barbie started doing press briefings, she said, we're going to bring independent media and not traditional media, which basically means we're going to bring all the right-wing shows in to ask softball questions.
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna do.
Oh, didn't he give her a softball question?
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody to be nice to us?
Yeah.
Tell them that they should be nicer to us. Teacher.
There are obviously, left or progressive or whatever people that are getting good coverage in America, but the business model is different for them often, right? So it's much, much harder. So the business model, if you're on the right wing, is basically Russia gives you a load of money to slowly drip feed disinformation without you realizing it. There's no one to do that on the other side.
No.
So the business model on the other side, as you all know, because you're YouTubers, is that you're supported by real people. And that has to be organic and it has to be true and honest.
There's people watching this.
You just spend all your time begging people for money and setting goals and saying, "Can I have more super chats, please?" And they'll say, "Graham, you've had enough super chats today, you greedy bastard." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't get any tomorrow because I'm not doing any shows." But anyway.
The biggest one, obviously, Hassan, right? Hassan Piker, Hassan Abi, and he does very well because he's a machine. Just like Graham, you obviously do hours a day as well, right? And so you know what it's like. But you really do have to put the work in, because there's no one coming along to give you a load of money.
No,
unfortunately not. Apparently, George Soros is supposed to pay us all. I've been waiting 9 years. 9 years. I've been waiting for that check to clear.
Stack of checks.
An amazing conspiracy that we're all in his pocket.
Yeah, because we wouldn't just do this naturally. Do you know what I mean? But the annoying thing is that there's no bots doing what we do. But on the right, there's bots. So I don't know why people who aren't getting paid fucking bother. Like, why do they bother? Josh, something that I mentioned this afternoon when I was talking to Phil, I had a refuck letter, leaflet through the door, and I was in the kitchen. It's only a small house, so it was right by the door, back door, the front door, and I picked it up, scrumpled it up, opened the door, and the guy was like next door. I was like, "Hey mate, you dropped something." And he came over, and he's just a young lad. He must have been about 17 or 18 or something.
Yeah,
like
local
young lad. And I said, "Hope you're getting paid for this, mate." And he went, "Oh yeah, I am." And I went, "Okay." No volunteers, mate. They're all getting paid. They're all getting paid.
I burned him in the sink.
Astroturfing.
I've heard much worse stories than that. And anecdotal, caveated, all that stuff, right? But during what was it, 2019, that election, I was hearing stories of literally vans of people showing up at tables with flyers, trying to encourage voter turnout for Labour, Lib Dems, Greens, whatever. Taking all the flyers, getting back in the vans, driving off. Right.
Wow.
And these people are clearly being paid. I mean, I've not heard very much of that, but it's definitely a thing that occasionally does happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you've got a budget, my God, what can you do with it? I mean, imagine. I mean, this is the thing that really pisses me off. They've got all this budget, they own all the media.
Yeah.
For 14 years, the Tories could direct policy and change the way democracy works. And actually get people on side and all this stuff, and do voter suppression, which they absolutely did with voter ID and all sorts of other things. They got all the billionaires on their sides, right? All this stuff. They got Cummings and all his stuff going on. They still don't get a majority of the vote. Do you know what I mean? They work so hard. They work so hard, and still most people do not want it. Imagine if it was a fair game. Imagine if it was a fair game.
I think you said work so hard. They cheat so hard. You mean?
They spend so hard.
They cheat so hard.
Yeah. If they didn't have all that, they would be like 8% with the vote, maybe, right? because they got fuck all. They got shit ideas that no one wants. They have to spend all that money to trick people into believing them.
Well, this is the thing with the Tories now. They've got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. What are their policies about anything? Nobody knows.
Trans. All they got is trans issues.
Yeah.
Trans.
Which is the same as what Labour are doing at the moment, because Labour are being a bunch of fucking dickheads.
Well, I don't even know what's going on there. It's ridiculous.
I find that odd, because it's not really a vote winner, is it, really?
Being a dickhead.
You know what? This is another thing that pisses me off about these politicians, is so up their own asses they don't even understand. And I think that what their media is saying influences people so much that they just go by what the media is saying. But when you look and poll people about transgendered people, right? On the whole, people in England don't give a shit about trans people. They don't care. They're not as bothered as the very vocal minority of people. So this is where they're having a complete misstep, is that Labour seem to think that they're going along with some sort of tide, and they're not. They're going against it. Not. And no one's telling them. There's no one saying to Keir Starmer, I'm your advisor. Let me tell you now, people like trans people. Stop it.
Yeah.
This is the thing, right? There are people telling them. They are the voters. You look at the stats, and the votes are not on the side of this issue that the media thinks people are on. Yeah. Right. This is the thing. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to reduce any particular one issue, right? Especially this one, but on pretty much every fucking policy, you just have to look at the stats. Like, screw the advisors. Screw the advisors.
The advisors
100 years of people voting, right? I mean, it's not hard.
The advisors are fucking the politicians really hard.
Say some fucking unpopular shit. Just say it. Who cares? No, I mean the Starmer this week. I've lost it with Starmer this week because the switch to whether it was him directly that said it or he didn't answer the question.
No, he stood under a trans flag at Pride in London. Right?
Exactly.
Started talking about trans women are women. We're going to do everything to keep the Gender Recognition Act. He said all those things, and now all of a sudden, well, the court said this, so this is the thing. No, he looked like a fucking idiot.
And then he's got little Ron Weasley streeting running around going, "Hey, we won! Shut up, we won!"
Yeah. That stupid, that stupid traitor, that stupid scab to the gay community. How dare he? Do you know what I mean? And he too was saying the same thing before the election. He too was saying the same thing about trans people before the election. Trans women are women, trans men are men. He said all this stuff. Now it's all changed. And because somebody is advising these people.
I'll tell you something though, Scott. And I mentioned this to Rachel the other day, and I know it perhaps comes across as controversial, but within the local Labour Party, I have seen, and I have had stand-up rows with a certain aged women in the party who are TERFs within the Labour Party.
50-year-old women are TERFs.
Not all 50-year-old women.
No,
not all post-menopausal women.
But I have had arguments. I have had arguments with some within the Labour Party. And when Keir Starmer came down seeking election as the leader here, the two issues that he talked about were trans rights and the anti-Semitism within the party, because those are the two big issues in Brighton and Hove. And this is Brighton and Hove, and the Labour Party had an issue with trans people. So within the party itself, I think there's pressure. I don't think it's entirely coming from the media. I think there is pressure from within the party, because I think a certain faction within the party, feminists over the age of 50, 60, who have been mobilized on this to be weapons. So I think they're dealing with it internally and
have drunk the JK Kool-Aid, definitely.
I was going to say, I mean, the really frustrating thing is that it is very possible to be a feminist and a trans ally at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
I mean, feminism isn't.
I can't believe that needs saying out loud.
You can't be a feminist and a transphobe, because it just doesn't work. And I would like to say, before we go on, hang on, Scott, before we go on, please.
Sorry.
Reverend Kathy is as a postmenopausal woman, I resent that. Honestly, I was making a bit of a joke there. But
Kathy.
Genuinely mean it. Not all women, not all postmenopausal women.
But on this
Kathy knows that I'm her biggest fan. I'm a big fan of Kathy.
The point about being able to be a feminist and a trans ally, at the same time, but it's
To not
clearly
be is
obvious, right? But
diametrically
the point
opposed.
is, we are in this state of mind. I mean, I'm using the word "we" very generally, obviously, but we are in the state of mind that there is this zero-sum thing going on, and if one group has rights, the other doesn't have rights, and that kind of stuff. And it's just where I think it's a default position now. It's like when someone is standing up going, "Hey, remember me," they're like, everyone else is like, "Yeah, but remember me." It's like it doesn't have to be that way at all.
No one has forgotten you. Just because we're not talking about you doesn't mean we forgot.
We're going to get loads of shit now for being 6 blokes talking about women's rights. So, can I just change the subject for a moment? Back to Trump and Putin, which is what I want to talk about.
For fuck's sake, it's so boring. No one wants to talk about it.
I want to talk about Trump and Putin! Ukraine!
Just on that point, though, Graham, we should get more shit if we didn't talk about it. And so
I was about to say, I think you've got it all wrong. Men need to know what men on the right side of things. Yeah, they need to hear, like, men don't listen to women. And I think that's fairly obvious. So if they need to hear it from us, 6 blokes, then they need to hear it from us, 6 blokes. Like, I think we shouldn't run from the conversations. As long as we're being respectful.
You just don't want to talk about Trump and Putin, do you?
No.
Really.
I mean, is the left and the right in his mouth?
I spent ages making that thumbnail. Can we just talk about the thing that's on the thumbnail?
You know damn well you AI. You chat GPT the shit out of that thumbnail. How dare you?
Go on. Scott.
Story of the week. The best idea a politician has come out with came out this week from the Lib Dems. Fine the mobile phone loudspeaker on public transport. Best idea in years. Best idea in years. Get rid. £10,000. Find them 10,000.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna go put that on the website for tomorrow because I think that's a vote winner. I really do.
Yeah. It's a huge vote. People are not worried about where trans people piss. What they hate is when an idiot is on the bus playing their music for everyone to hear because they can't be bothered to put
it's always shit music, isn't it? It's never something that you want to listen to. It's always fucking garbage.
I'll tell you now, if I did that and I put my Cradle of Filth on, I'd get shit off, mate. What's wrong with y'all?
Do you get this in Scott? Do you get this around you as well? But around here, I get people walking past with great big speakers, Bluetooth speakers, playing their music out loud to everybody as well.
Hell yeah, I'm with it. I support these people. Trains. I think these people are patriots. I love them.
So two things. I mentioned this on the show the other day because it was on the front cover of one of the newspapers that the Lib Dems wanted to do this. If someone is having a conversation on the phone, on the train, out loud, on loudspeaker, join in their conversation. Say, hiya.
They want you to.
Hello, how you doing? And they're like, who's that? It's some bloke on the train. All right, mate, are you all right?
What kind of panties you got on?
This is a private conversation.
What kind of drawers you got on?
Yeah, no, it's not private. You're
what you wearing?
It's not private.
What you wearing?
What's your feet look like?
The other thing to do is if someone's got the car
make it awkward
speaker on full and they've got the windows wound down and you're walking across a zebra crossing, just start to dance. Just start to dance to their music and don't move until they turn it off.
Genuinely, one of the things that really gets me is people that are parked and idling. It really does my head in.
Oh, there's a fellow who does that outside the school that dropped the kids off.
He's not idling.
It's a primary school, and he's got some twatmobile with tinted windows and a big fuck off exhaust.
Sounds jealous.
Definitely not idling.
It's got like a sticker on the back, like making fun of Greta Thunberg or something. And he positioned himself.
Yeah, she's a nerd.
Primary school.
He is a wrongin'. I'm telling you now.
Getaway car
coming out the back, and he never. He just idles. He just sits there and idles.
No, he had 5 kids at 16. He's just picking up his brats.
Well, yeah, sure.
And he's very cool. But, you're just jealous. You're just jealous because you're like over here, like taking public transit, riding a bike and shit. No, dude. 4 miles to the gallon. And yeah, this is a Japanese engine. It took a lot of work for me to make this thing fucking inefficient. And I somehow managed to do it.
And put so much dirt in the engine that the smoke comes out black.
There's so much gas in every cylinder that I had to put 16 intakes on this bitch just to pump air into it.
But just to get on to Trump, Rachel Reeves has been saying we should be accepting American cars over here now. Like we can't afford the petrol for your cars.
Yeah.
Here's the other problem.
Streets, they're too big.
I was about to say they don't fit.
We've got little windy little fucking streets.
She needs to go. I'm done with her. She's so fucking stupid. I'm done with her. She needs to go now. She has to go.
from
Just
the
go,
north.
"Hey, you know what? She's take care with him. I'm done with the two of them. Yeah, I'm done with the two of them. We need to change the leader. We need to change chancellor. Goodbye. You got to go because every time she talks, she says something fucking stupid, right? And then when he talks, it's exactly the opposite of what he said last week. I'm tired. I'm tired. You got to go.
Who
It's
would you be
Something
facing with?
stirring within
go.
me, Scott, is telling me that you're not happy.
No,
I think unfortunately, Starmer is stuck in a position where you guys thought that he was something that he wasn't.
yes.
And now he is supposed to live up to what everybody thought he was. And he's like, that's not who I am.
Right.
And everyone is slowly coming down from the high.
That's what the Tories do. Let's do what the Tories do, right?
Okay.
And we get fucking rid. He has to go now. Goodbye. You didn't work out. You have to go now. We're going to put something more left.
But
I mean, traditionally, that's just not going to happen with the Labour Party, though, is it? Well, it just never happened.
But they hang on to their leaders until they get the worst election result for 100 years, and then they're still like, oh, but you know, if only he was given a chance or two chances, 17 chances, they could have changed
if the media weren't against him.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like the media are usually all gung ho for Labour MPs, Labour politicians. Optimistic nihilist, before we go on, has dropped a super chat in. Morgan McSweeney and pro-austerity anti-trans groups, Gang of Spads, have taken over the leadership. Starmer is just his minion, been in the pockets of the LGB Alliance, another regressive think tank. Same for
those people.
I think that, you know, essentially what happens with, I mean, I'm not inside the Labour leadership team, obviously. You know, all of us are just looking from the outside, and there's lots of indications that we can make good guesses from, right? But I think what's happening is pretty much exactly what happened with Corbyn as well, and that is that they are basically being manipulated by their teams. They're being shielded from stuff and not shown reality, and it's very, very hard to know, you know, who these people really are. And like, you know, like you were all saying, like while they're campaigning, they're one thing, they might actually be truly another. You know, what's more frustrating is, you know, which one is it? Is it more frustrating that they pretended to be something while they were campaigning, and now we're seeing who they really are? Or is it more frustrating that if they, you know, we saw who they really were while they were campaigning, and now for some reason they're not being who they really are? Which one of those is most frustrating?
It's the latter. And if that's what's happening, then there needs to be a clear out of those people, right? Those advisors. Now, I personally am only earning a very meager salary at the job that I'm in. I will happily be a government advisor.
But I think what I'm getting at is that I think that would just happen again the next time as well, right? Because of the people around.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm a man of the people.
No, but this is why. But the teams of people are not elected, and they're part of the party, right?
Yeah, they can be fired. Fuck them. Fire them. They gotta go.
The thing I love about this, Scott, is that you genuinely think Starmer is watching this, and this is an interview.
I could be the next Malcolm Tucker, guys.
Change the teams, but what I'm trying to say is that if we got in another person, they would also be in the same situation where they are essentially in this bubble of advisors, and the same thing would probably happen again.
Joe would really help.
The bubble needs to be popped.
Joe would really help if these politicians did weekly YouTubes.
I mean, there's lots. Absolutely. Like engaging with reality at all would be really, really, really useful, right?
Imagine each week
why
they did like effectively a town hall.
Special advisor to Prime Minister.
Imagine if they did a town hall and they did a thing that went out on their YouTube channel at the same time, until they could get fielded questions from the town hall. They could get fielded questions from the people in the chat, and you set it up so it's only people who are members of that channel who've been vetted who, you know, can actually ask a question. So it's only the constituents. If it's not a minister, just if it's a normal MP, and you have these conversations. I mean, it's important. I mean, it's not like I sit here and no one ever puts something in the chat that doesn't make me think. People put stuff in the chat that makes me think every day.
We tried to do that.
Necessarily go down a certain route. Sorry, what are you saying?
I tried to do that with my local MP. I tried to get him to do that 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And being absolutely honest, I won't name him, but now he's just cut off almost all relations with the local community, including the local Labour Party, because he's a minister. So, wow. I think Josh is right. I think you end up in a bubble. You end up sitting there listening to the the advisors and lobbyists that you're being
Is that
confronted with every
wise,
single day.
sir?
I am free and available to be a government advisor at any given moment in time.
Again,
just let me know and I'll be down there.
I
Will you
love
be
the fact
walking
that
in with your
Scott thinks they're
credible-
watching.
I will walk in with my Cradle of Filth t-shirt and say,
Yes,
"Listen,
I can
bitch."
imagine.
Just before we got, do you own a castle though? Do you live in a castle?
By the
I
sea.
live in a council.
No, you got to live in a
Okay.
castle, and then you get to be a government advisor. Apparently,
Council.
I can't hear the
Quinn-
difference. Are you saying two different words? Your accents are really hard to track.
Castle is where the lord and lady live to piss on the commoners and pour
I live in
boiling oil
government
on us.
housing.
Yeah,
the
castle
plebs.
member.
Council is
A castle member.
state.
A council member. Yeah, I got it. Council. Right.
I live in a council.
Quincy, thank you very much for the €5 super chat. Sorry for the super late chat, folks. That don't need to apologise. Oh, it took a while for the George Soros check to clear. Okay, fair enough.
Good.
Understandable.
Glad you got
Good
Still
lad,
waiting
Quincy.
for mine.
And
You
then
got
we
to
got
get direct
Ruth,
deposit.
Ruth in the chat there. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. When are you English going to go for independence and get rid of the Westminster government? I don't know. Chance will be a fine thing.
We'd be
In
stuck
the-
with it.
In the King's speech, of course, right? There was talk of English devolution, right? Which would change quite a lot about how Westminster works, I think.
That's died away, hasn't it? Because I thought that was one of the
I
best
haven't heard
political
anything more
moves.
about that.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
they've
but I
done
think
it.
it's
They've
been
done it. They've
buried.
brought in loads of different mayoral contests, haven't
No, they are, but it just doesn't seem to be at the core, which I thought it was a fundamentally good idea, primarily from a political point of view,
Yeah,
which just meant that what you could do is blame mayors for potholes and mayors for transport problems, and you could rise above those issues politically
Female
and deal with
horses?
foreign policy.
Female
just-
horses are responsible.
Just want to jump
Yeah,
in here and say,
Mikey, this is sorry, mate.
thank you to Kirsty for the £2 super chat. Here's a little to help. Toodles all. Time for bed. All right. Good night, Kirsty. Sweet dreams.
Good night, Kirsty.
And thank you for supporting the channel.
Mikey, what you don't understand, which Josh could explain, is that we use female horses to run most of our constituency areas.
Physically?
Yeah. They tap their
Horsepower.
hooves a number of times to make decisions. It's a tradition.
And every politician has to be kicked in the head by one of them before they,
Well, that's how they're so stupid.
One
why
of the
the
things
couches
that
are
drives me
green.
up the wall at the moment is there are these, and I felt the same way about the previous leaders, to be honest. There are these open fucking goals, and all they need to do is just tap the ball in to this open fucking goal right in front of them, and they're not taking the opportunity to do it. You can get someone to write a speech that is very cleverly written that Trump will not understand, but we will. Right?
Yeah.
Saying, listen, we're going to string
Tariffs
this knobhead
are
along
paid
until
by
we
the-
get to where we want to be, and then we're going to sack these fuckers off. We're going to drown them like a bunch of kittens in the fucking canal. We don't give a shit, right? And the other thing is like the other issues, like the trans rights, like they're on the wrong side of history on that. It's an easy win for Labour to make clear blue water between them and the Tories, them and the refuck, them and all the fucking Nazis in the country. Because, Nazis, turf, same fucking thing. And they're not taking the opportunity. It's like, it's
No, they're
there.
trying to out-transphobic each other.
Yeah. But they could be
ridiculous.
And the thing is, Phil will go, trans issues aren't a thing that's going to win you votes, right? Yeah. It's just not going to lose you any votes either.
Exactly. So I don't
fucking
understand the
do
point of
it.
it.
Because it will allow people like us who would like to support this Labour Party because they're not the Tories, to actually fucking support them. But at the moment, we're sitting here going,
What the
fuck
hell's
these guys.
going on?
What the hell? Yeah.
And
Those
I know for a
wins.
fact,
Let's flashback 6
doesn't
months
cost
when Graham's
any
like,
money or political
Mikey,
capital."
you're a Democrat. What's going on? Like, why would you see? And there's a one-word answer for all of this: capitalism. It doesn't behoove them to fucking give a shit about trans people or to give a shit about anybody who isn't paying them. That's where we're at now.
Well, there's
Like-
still cunty politicians in places where they're more socialist, like in the Scandinavian countries.
I don't even
Still
think
get
half
gobshites.
most of these fucking turfs don't even care about trans people. They like having a transphobe turf battle because it's profitable. They don't care. They don't care.
I think
Oh,
the ones who,
there's a
the
wonderful
7
group
people
that has-
outside the High Court, they did care because they're obsessed.
Yeah.
They're
But
they're
they
high,
also did you
they're
see
high they're high on the fumes of bigotry. You know what I
there's
mean?
this
But at the end of the day, they weren't even thinking about this previously.
there's
Yeah.
a woman, I can't remember her name, I think it was Juliet something,
Jessica.
who could have been she said, right, the battle or the war against trans ideology has now been won. We must now all put our efforts into tackling illegal immigration.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so racism and transphobia are what? Two cheeks of the same ass, right? Because, they're just shifting from one thing to another. It was just,
She's proving the point, Rachel's point, which is that they're picking on a minority of a minority of a minority
yeah.
in order to
And then
get
they're going to go to the
all
next
the
minority
hatred
when they
aimed at
feel
them.
they've done it. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they need an enemy, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a bunch
Yeah.
of white women sat there going, 1 in 4 sexual assaulters are foreign. And it's like, oh, so let's forget about the 3 that are English.
Yeah.
Again, ban white dudes, and then you'll take care of the 3 in that.
Right. Then you can work out the.
Then we'll talk. Then we'll see if that doesn't have a chilling
Why isn't
effect
she
on the
only
rest of
saying
them.
3 out of 4 men are sexual abusers are white? Like, let's focus on those guys,
This
right?
is
'Cause there's a
but
lot of those.
and I've been saying this for a while too. Like the LGBTQ is learning what it's like to look at the world through the eyes of a minority for the first time, and they are terrified and they are outraged and they are like yeah, it's weird, right? That people just like won't accept you as a human. I know, crazy. It's like there were wars over this, but then they think like because they're white that they are exempt from minority status. No, no, no. You have joined the circle of hell that is being a minority across the globe.
You have to remember though that you have people of color who are LGBTQ plus who have probably dealt with even more adversity than the average cis black male, maybe, you know what I mean? So it also I think gay people, especially people my age, who remember what it was like to not be accepted as much.
In the closet.
I would say we have a generation of gay people who are understanding what it's like to be a minority, whereas an older generation, a lot of whom have died out due to, AIDS.
Governments
Understand exactly what it's like to be a minority, even if regardless of the color, and understand that even in themselves have privilege over the people of color, the trans people of color.
But that's what I mean. Like, but that's what I mean.
Time you don't.
But that's what I mean. We had this golden age, right, where everybody's rights were being realized and things were sweet.
Yes.
And people forgot that they were a minority and they were like, oh, I know my white privilege. They're like, no, lesbian, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? And then it was like, oh shit, what happened? It's like, you're still this.
A minority.
You're still down here with me. Like, you're not up there anymore. You gave up your white privilege. You lose that as soon as you start slapping they thems on your name. Like, you are an other now. And white people will not treat you like white people anymore. You will be treated like an immigrant, a black, you know what I'm saying? Like an Indian person. Like, that's how they're going to treat you now. Yeah. So
I went to the trans, and we still have an issue with it. I went to the trans march on last Saturday, and after the march, me and a friend who I met up with there, then went to the pub and we had a couple of drinks, and then he saw a friend of his. The 3 of us decided we were going to get something to eat, right? So we're getting something to eat in Soho, and we just kind of talked a little bit about what we did, like with this guy. We just went to the trans march, and he actually said, well, I can kind of understand where these women are coming from in this single sex spaces. It's like, you're fucking gay and you don't fucking get it. And we're still like, I have to now explain it to you. You knew where we were, and now you've just come out and said that.
It's like Black MAGA. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about, dude? You're next. What are you talking about?
Right? That's what I said to him. I was like, okay, well, you just wait. And you next, and then you'll be
Dr. Martin Nemo
with us.
Quoting it, really.
Yeah, then you'll be with us on Parliament Square right? Going, where's our gay rights gone?
Right.
But I guess it's okay when you're a little muscle geezer who gets to sleep with porn stars the night before. That's okay for you. You're all right. You're all right. You know? That's all we heard about. We've been on a protest. What have you been up to? I've been doing crystal meth with a porn star. Oh, well, fabulous. I'm sure you've had a wonderful time.
Right.
I think also people that, just to something one of you said a minute ago or so, I think I was going to respond to say that I think empathy and self-awareness are very, very difficult things, even when you're trying hard to have them.
Yeah.
And being proactive about empathy and self-awareness, even when you're trying to do that, and you can see it in some people, it's very hard to imagine situations or scenarios that you are not even aware of, right? And I think we just need to try much, much harder at practicing that. Have you all watched Adventure Time? I imagine the cartoon Adventure Time.
I never really watched it.
Right, so there's this great episode where Finn is getting bullied by a bully, right? And he tries to teach him about why bullying is bad, and he makes up a song, and he says, and the song goes, empathy, empathy, put yourself in the shoes of me. And he's like, right, so what you're telling me is I need to steal your shoes.
Take your shoes first.
It's like, I tried so hard to teach you what this means, and you still
just because you don't have it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Hi, Cozy.
Oh, we have Cozy. Cozy in the chat. How you doing, Cozy?
I'm all right. I thought I'd come and say hi because for once I'm not in my bed.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. We can actually see you. You were very dark last time.
You're right side up. I didn't know what to take of this. I was like, well, she's not at an angle.
You look like you've been dressed up. Have you been out?
And I've got makeup on.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I've been to an event.
Oh,
I've literally
lovely.
just walked in the door. So
she was partying with her real friends.
Yeah, she was hanging out with actual
oh, babe. Actually, I was at a really lovely, lovely event by an organization that works with people who've experienced honor-based abuse and violence, and the event is women only, which includes trans women, by the way.
Everybody held their breath.
We all held our breath.
There was that.
We've been talking about it so much tonight. We're all like,
all right, who's gonna get cozy?
They're not allowed to take photos because there are a lot of women who would normally wear a hijab outside who maybe have taken their hijab off. There was a belly dancer, there was a DJ, there was some other dance performances.
Are you allowed to tell us this?
Gorgeous food. So it was all in all a really, really lovely evening. Jigging it with about 400 girls in a banqueting suite.
Well, I'm sure a lot of heterosexual men would love to have been in your place.
They'd be too scared.
Where were you?
They'd be terrified.
Were you over the water? Were you in Liverpool or were you?
Yeah, of course I was in Liverpool. I was in the Adelphi.
Oh, the Adelphi.
Yeah, Adelphi. Thinks we look nice dress, everything.
Oh wow.
Scott, if you put one mouse in the snake's cage, it's like, ooh, dinner. But if you put 1,000 mice in the snake's cage, it's like, oh God.
On dinner.
Yes.
It's too many dinners. Too many dinners.
Brilliant.
Many dinners.
Cozy, we've been talking about how much like a letdown Labour have been, especially over trans rights.
Ooh, here we go.
You don't want to get me started.
We've had Scott, honestly.
Pour the drink.
Pour the drink. Get angry. Scott's got off on one a couple of times tonight. Been wonderful.
I've got to go off on one.
Josh has got as angry as Josh ever gets. He's a very cool, collected cucumber.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say.
I know, but you can tell you get really frustrated when you're like,
show some passions, Josh. God damn it!
I was going to say you can see it. Angry.
When you know Josh, you'll see when he's fucked off with stupid Labour doing stupid bloody things. In fact, Morgan McSweeney, I'd never really heard of him until I met up with you last summer, Josh, and you were talking about him. And I was like, oh, who is this person? And that's what I found out. We got this like Dominic Cummings type person of the left.
Graham, can I just check? Is this being recorded?
Yes, this is going out on. This is going.
What?
This is going out. This is being broadcast live.
What?
Say nothing, Josh.
It's
Say
going
nothing.
out to millions.
Yeah.
So 160, so almost a million.
I think
Just a million short of a million.
just on that note, I think it's really important that we do know who is involved in making decisions in the party of government, right? And that includes the non-elected people. And so I think that's super important.
Well, I mean, they don't try and hide that he's telling them what to do. That he's there at least.
Well, there's a weird thing. I don't think Morgan McSweeney has a Twitter account, and I always think that's a bit suspicious. For some
I don't
reason.
have a Twitter account.
No,
I
but like
think
ever.
a lot of people have given up Twitter.
But then I wish.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I mean like years
You
ago.
didn't have
Like,
social media.
yeah, I think it's weird when people don't do social media.
By the way, Josh,
Calculated.
Spank the Monkey in the chat just said, Josh also has a lovely beard.
Oh,
True.
There you go.
Oh, someone else said it.
So sweet.
Nice.
Oh, my beard is nothing. It's fine. Don't put anything
Oh,
in the chat.
God,
I
this
don't want to hear it.
fragile-
I don't want to hear it.
fragile
My
male
beard is
ego.
insane. My beard is. I lined it up and
Everyone's
everything for
getting
you guys.
beard
I lined it
and
up and everything
Who
for you guys, and you
cares?
said nothing. Nothing. I don't want to. Don't put anything
To
in the
be
chat about my beard.
Mikey, the only reason nobody's mentioned it is it's a terrible beard and nobody wanted to offend you. That's all.
I wanted to hear that because that was my goal, and you didn't even give me that.
Dissing other men's beards. What's wrong with you?
No, you make
Just
fun of their
thinking.
penis instead.
Did they teach you nothing in animation school?
No.
In the world
Take
of
the piss out of
politics,
people's
also the
beards.
one with the sexy beard.
I
is
was
king.
about to say, if you just had like a transcript of like a course at like a drawing school, there would be a lot of judging going on. Like your arms are too fat.
Your arms are weird. What's
yeah,
going
your
on
arms
with-
are weird and fat. What's
Wait a
going
minute,
on
wait
with
a
your
minute,
weird
wait a
fat
minute.
arms over there?
You all have beards.
Yeah.
Do none of you know how to use a razor?
Laziness.
No, you're missing the
Yeah, look at my head.
Gotcha there, Cozy.
My wife calls mine the hobo beard.
That face, Scott, was a beauty.
Yeah.
point.
I have an excuse. Mine's
do know
just
how-
laziness. I'm just a slob.
But Scott, is that by choice?
Listen, okay. You don't.
Why are you changing the subject,
Oh,
Cozy?
you're getting defensive.
Hello?
Okay.
It's not getting very
How dare
personal.
you?
Oh, are we having a Michael Fabricant moment?
Everyone's had a
Listen,
drink.
listen.
We've all had a nice evening. This is why
It's
all
getting very
Scouse weddings
hairist.
end in a fight, isn't it?
And Kosi came up in here and stirred the pot. She
did.
got her
did.
makeup on. She went, I'm stirring the fucking pot on the chat tonight.
She said, "I still got earrings in. Let me get Scott real
Let's
quick.
go. Let me go get Scott.
Let me go grab Scott up real quick and just start abusing him for no reason. Let me just get all up on Scott. Come here, Scott. Slap you around a little bit.
Scott. Fuck his bald ass.
Slap yourself a couple times, Scott. Come here. Is that by choice? Smack yourself. Smack yourself.
You know how to use a razor, Scott? You bald bitch.
Yeah, that's what she meant. I heard that too, Scott. That ain't right. She shouldn't do you like that.
Exactly what
She
This is
shouldn't
what I
do
was
you
gonna say,
like that.
Often
I bet you
people
got no
did.
choice, haven't you, Scott? You got no choice, you bald bitch.
See, the thing is, if Cozy had said that to me, I'd have said, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know how to use a
No,
razor."
I don't.
And I just left it at that.
Or what if we just broke
I
into
haven't seen that
tears? It's just
much
like,
wasted people.
I've been trying. It's too hard. I can't figure it out. I've been watching YouTube and TikTok, but they talk so fast. And then I hurt myself, and then I get discouraged, and then I don't do it for a while, and then I forget what I learned, and I have to start all over again.
That's exactly it.
Anyway,
I'm crying. That was funny. I
I
got
think we
myself,
lost
and I had to
Cozy.
keep
I think
going.
we lost Cozy. She's gone. She's gone.
no.
Not going back.
You know, it was all going so well till Cozy turned up and got all
Yeah,
beardy.
that's what I told you. Stir that
Yes.
pot.
Girl.
She
I
fucked
loved-
Scott,
I
fucked
loved
up all
in-
these.
I loved in Rings of Power that the female dwarves had beards because their beards were adorable. I was like, that is a very cute beard on a lady. It was very curly
excuse me,
and soft.
If this is Discworld, you don't discuss a dwarf's gender.
Oh, this is
Very
Lord of the
private.
Rings. Lord of the
I
Rings.
thought
Well,
that
it
they
was
were
in
called
Middle
little
Earth.
people.
Middle Earth?
It's Middle Earth, not Disco.
Well, those.
Am I on mute?
I don't like this world. I don't talk about it much.
There were no lazy dwarfs in Middle Earth, were there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Who do you think they should?
Well, in the
Well, I mean,
Amazon Prime,
obviously there had to be, but you know.
in the Amazon Prime version of Lord
And
of the
Rings of Power.
I don't know that one.
The one
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't see it. You should check it. You should check it out. It's a very interesting adaptation of everything. But yeah, you can see
I think I'm about
you're
40 years.
You're talking to a lady. You don't. Monty Python, Lord of the Rings. Don't look.
Monty
My
Python,
wife
yes.
loves that show.
Absolutely.
My wife loved Rings of Power. Game of Thrones. We love the big epic shows when they come out.
You see,
She's a
Super
fan.
Tansky gets viscerally angry if you start talking about Lord of the Rings. You can see it just
Really?
getting like
No,
angry.
I
and
quite
angry.
like Lord of
It's
the
like,
Rings.
fucking
Tansky is a
fantasy,
part-
fuck off.
Tansky's a party girl. She doesn't care about high fantasy, so I wouldn't talk to her about her.
But when I did
hang
point
on.
out to her that if it wasn't for Lord of the
Zelda.
Rings, you wouldn't have Legend of Zelda.
Right.
She couldn't
You
argue
Played
with that.
Zelda.
She likes
Yeah.
Zelda.
She's a huge fan of Zelda. Her favorite game
She's
is
a fucking dude. Tansky's a fucking nerd, dude. I'm not worried
Don't,
about her.
don't say that.
She's
Oh
a
my God,
nerd.
quick, cut to commercials. Cut to commercials. She'll come
Tansky,
at
yo,
us.
big-
She'll come at
you
us.
little video game.
What did you
geek.
say?
Join us, you little
How
nerd.
dare you? How very
You
dare
love being
you?
I bet you got an extra battery pack for your Game Boy, nerd.
Cozy, please don't tell Tan what he's been saying.
I'm gonna
Please.
tell her
Somebody clip this up and send it to her.
Don't.
I don't think it's down to me.
I'm not a grass, but I'm telling her everything.
Josh is asking
I've
her
been
to
live
chat to you if
tweeting
he's on
her the
mute.
whole time.
Josh, what do you want to say, mate? Josh, come
I
in.
don't think it matters
Sorry,
anymore.
yes.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
you were trying to make a
Sorry.
point about beards or Lord of the Rings or dwarfs or something. I don't know. We're supposed to be talking about Trump. I'm
Go back-
fucking
And
Putin.
Oh,
Trump.
God,
Now there's
I
a man
don't
who
know.
doesn't have a beard. Two men that don't have beards.
Yeah,
Couldn't
you can't
grow
trust them.
beards, I don't think.
Can't
I don't
trust
think
them.
they could grow them.
Oh my! Could you imagine Trump with a beard? That would be ugly.
Yeah.
That'd be worse.
man.
That'd be worse than what's his face? Who just Tucker Carlson? Did he try a beard? No,
I don't know.
Cruz.
how.
Cruz's beard.
Okay,
Ugh.
I've got a question.
Oh,
how
God, yeah,
do men
yeah.
who shave every day have the time? Because literally, I don't have time to brush my teeth and have a shower. I have to do it at the same time, just before I run downstairs and start the
I
show
do that
at
too.
9 o'clock. Sorry?
I just do it after the
I
show
do that too.
You do what?
separately.
I shower. I brush my teeth in the shower.
Yeah, I brush my teeth in the shower as well.
You're wasting all the water.
What water? What?
Shower.
No, I'm
Wash
getting wet
your
in the
body
water.
in the
I'm getting-
shower.
Yeah, I'm doing that with my other hand while I'm brushing my teeth because it's
Lord
like
have mercy.
3 minutes to 9 and I've got to leg it downstairs. Thank God I haven't got long hair to fucking dry. To like start the show at 9 o'clock.
Grandma's doing the show
Find out that
every
me
morning.
shirt has been tucked.
sopping.
You know that thing where you put the wrong button in the wrong buttonhole and your shirt's all like
Mismatch.
this, and you don't realise till you press start on the show, and then you're like, oh
I know
shit,
all about.
I'm gonna have
putting
to
it in the
fix
wrong
this
hole.
now. And
Let me just try another segue. Donald Trump talks about shower pressure an awful lot, and Donald Trump
Such a weird.
has a relationship with Putin over Ukraine. What do we all think?
The golden showers from the Russian
Oh,
prostitutes that he has on
okay.
video.
I
There
guarantee,
we go.
Mikey,
There's a
that
PP
they are
tape,
not.
dude.
That is not
It's a
what it
PP
is.
tape.
It is
It's a
so
PP
much
tape.
worse. It's something that he couldn't laugh off or just say, oh, you know, who wouldn't want me to do that to them or whatever. It's
I wonder if
got to
it's
be-
a little
No,
bit
they
of
peed
that.
on him.
It's got to be something fucking awful.
No, they peed on him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
I'm
but
wondering
that
if it's a
wasn't.
little bit
And
of
that and that too.
It just say it was fake.
And his little willy is in there.
It just say it was
Yeah.
fake. I don't think he'll.
There's
Okay,
got
I
to be
need to be-
something else. There's got to
If
be
you don't-
something
I think
bigger.
it's.
If
I think
y'all
it's
don't
something
think
Something
he
big
he's
wa-
and
bothered
dark.
about.
If y'all don't think he won't sacrifice 350 million Americans to keep his PP tape off
Yeah.
the fucking internet, you are gravely mistaken. We
I'm
are
not-
all
I'm with-
for
I'm
fans.
with Graham
Chrissy in
on
the
this.
chat.
Yeah.
Chrissy in the chat said, Graham, that's poor timekeeping skills. I do actually wake up at 6:45 in the morning. I've got to read all the news that's gone on, and then I've got to put together like an idea for what I'm going to be talking about, and I've got to design a thumbnail, and often I've got to drop the girls off at school. So just trying to
So
get
don't take them
ready
to school.
for 9.
Obvious.
Yeah, just
Easy.
make them walk.
That
It'll
saves
take them an hour and
time.
a half.
They need the leg strength.
Yeah, but they don't have any bloody pavements around here. 60-mile-an-hour roads. and
It's
there's no
bad for
fucking pavements.
that's bad for their joints. They should walk in the grass. It's better for them.
Well, yeah, It's like
Oh my God.
it's like proper farmers' fields.
Dude,
You get
I used
attacked
to
by cows.
To be fair, I used to walk like over a mile back and forth to school, and we never thought anything about it. Like you had to be at least like 2 miles away from the school to get a bus, and that was normal. And we just walked, and it would take like 20 minutes, and you didn't really.
It would take me over 45 minutes to walk home from school when I was in junior high.
And now we go over to the Yorkshireman sketch from Monty Python. This is
a
day.
miles to school with no shoes on.
You couldn't even
Roads
walk. You had to
really
crawl.
go
You had to crawl
slowly.
on belly to school.
You were lucky.
It took me
You were
4
lucky.
days. It did.
Yeah.
Back in my primary school, there was a volcano that would put fresh lava down right in front of the school, and we had to crawl on our bellies through the lava because the poisonous plants you see were above it. They like the fumes.
Yeah.
Teachers, you have teachers. Good
Oh,
God,
luxury.
Yes. Yeah.
luxury, lad.
Luxury.
You had more than one book in your class.
We
Wow.
had to teach ourselves.
Yeah.
We had to write our own school books and then learn them.
Yes. We had to use wood chip to cover their jotter.
I don't even know what that meant.
I do.
That's Darren taking us right
I have
back.
no idea what he's talking
Right
about.
back to the old
Yes.
days.
What was even that? I don't. What?
Do you know what that was? Scott, let me explain that. I don't know if this happened when you were at school, but you had to cover your exercise book, your writing books, and you could choose whatever you wanted to wrap it in. Yeah. So I wrapped mine in Marvel comics and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we would use in America when we had our textbooks, we would get told to cover them, and we would mainly use brown shopping bags.
Brown paper
Right.
bag, baby.
But
all over.
I was talking to somebody my age the other day about this, and it struck me that everybody that I talk to remembers what they covered their books with. And I think it's almost the only example of creativity that was allowed in the school. It was the only free expression of individuality that you're actually allowed in the school.
What I would do is
Wait. You had a free choice?
You could cover your book with anything, and it was an independent sort of statement of, look, this is what I've covered my book in, basically.
All right, everybody, let's see your books. Let's see your books. Looks good. Looks good. Jeremy, is that a human skin? No, Jeremy. We talked about this last week. Take it out.
Darren, why have you covered your daughter with razzle? That's disgusting. Get rid of that.
I was just checking how long it
And Marcus, peanut butter is not a covering for books. We talked about this last week.
So walking from my house in Liverpool to school was an hour. It was at least an hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah, right.
How slow do y'all walk?
I didn't get a free bus pass. I did for the first couple of years at senior school, but then the third year they said, no, you live too close to get a free bus pass, even though I had to get 2 buses every day.
How many miles away was it that it's taken you that, like, a mile is 15 minutes if you're walking. So you're telling me you're like 10 miles away from the
3 miles.
That's not.
I mean, directly.
My kids didn't get bus
I'm about to say, I was like, maybe it's not as the crow flies and
there.
there was a bridge or something. Like, I don't know.
No.
I got a free bus pass.
I used to get a free bus pass, and then they said, no, you live 2.9 miles away, and you have to live 3 miles away. It was 3 miles.
I got Graham's bus pass, and I never used it.
So now you don't get a bus pass.
I used it to keep my piano level.
Unless you're in the nearest school to your house, and it's more than 3 miles. So you might be, yeah, so the school nearest to you might be a complete zoo, and for that reason you go to another school. But if that's like my kids' schools were both of them more than 10 miles away, and I spend in excess of £100 a term on each on bus passes, so £200. I just spent £215
mad, isn't it?
or £212.
Yeah. And you wonder why the roads are all chock-a-block when it's a school run. Well, obviously it's going, you know.
The debate of my life this week. Sorry.
Like, how hard is it to get some school buses?
Well, yes, Mikey, socialism. We need your socialism to come over to our country and have yellow fucking school buses.
They don't have school buses?
Pick up kids. No, we don't. We have to get the public buses.
Use public transport.
I remember
That's
when I was
dangerous.
Yeah, and also,
All of
if
them.
you're using public transport to go to work and you're a grown-up, it's full of snot-nosed little shits between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning.
You have
You
no
can't
idea.
go anywhere. You can't move. It's like full of these
You
horrible
can barely get on the
kids
bus. Sometimes
gobbing and
buses won't
swearing
leave
and
you at
being
bus
little
stops because they're full.
twats everywhere.
It's full of children.
God,
And,
kids.
Yeah, no, the yellow bus system in America is absolutely wonderful. Like they don't have.
And is that
I just
free?
assumed-
Socialism.
Yes, it's
Socialism.
free.
It's part of
It's
your
free.
school. It's part of your school dues.
It's part of your school
That's
district.
unbelievable.
Your school literally runs the buses.
It's funny. I remember playing
The
SimCity,
school district.
and in the school you had to actually put buses in the school, and it was like a complete anathema. I'm looking at it going, why would you do
When I
that?
went to-
That's
What are these
when I
yellow
went to-
things?
I just looked up going the girls to school, and the school is it's an hour and a half's walk along roads that don't have pavements, and it's
Hey.
60 miles an hour.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Walk a little longer.
But yeah, we should have.
Thank you, Kelly
It's
Clarkson.
interesting that you don't
You're
know
welcome.
in America that you don't realize how wonderfully socialist your school bus system is. So can I just ask, do you have to pay for that? Like, do you pay a set amount each term for the kids to get picked up from outside the
It's
school?
part of your school dues. Like, so, like when you pay your, I guess I don't know. It's been a while since I was in school, but I think it was like $100 for the year for me as like a high school student, and that would
Oh, hang
cover
on,
like
so
all
Yeah, no,
your.
my mom had to pay a small amount towards bus tickets I would get to get on the public transport when I was in high school. I'd get bus tickets because I was actually going to another school that was on the other side of town. But there were yellow buses that used to bus the kids. Busing is a thing in America where they would bus people from different neighborhoods into other neighborhoods to integrate
me.
schools. Yeah.
But do you, Mikey? Did you say you
I
pay a
went
fee?
To go to school, yeah. Like public school is like mostly free. But
Right.
the school district usually covers that. And the school district can raise money any number of ways. They can have bake sales, they can ask the schools for money. They're pretty much self-funded.
That would be a lot cheaper than what we're doing at the moment.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't cost much. You only need like
$100. That's
40
like
40 buses will cover 30,000 students. Because they don't, just the way it
Just
works.
do things so like I just don't understand why we don't
I've never understood.
send our stupid politicians around the world to go and take notes, like
So
things that they
there
do
is-
better in other countries.
So let me brag on America for one little second. So you got farmland that's no longer going to be farmland. Like it's farmland next to a big city, and it's going to become a suburb. The first thing they do is they clear out all the
Tom.
farmland. Hey, and then they put in a school, and then they put in a fire station and a police station, and then they say, okay, now we're going to code this. All of this is residential that surrounds these things. So then wherever the schools are, the houses are built because the school was planned to be, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not the other way around. Like it's planned with the school in the center where everybody can get to it, and then the buses run in a smooth fashion.
That is the way you play SimCity, isn't it? And
yeah,
and it's weird because I've played it all of my life, but genuinely that's not the way it works in the UK.
Yeah,
well, no.
we do it in the daftest possible way ever,
Ooh.
as we do in most things. Thank you very much to Ori. Hang on, Scott. Thank you very much to Ori for the £10 super chat. Have some money for your troubles. Thank you. Thank you, but I think you've got more troubles than I have at the moment. Jesus Christ, with everything going on in this stupid country. Chuckling as I listen to you all in the corner of an airport before I regrettably return to the UK. Take a look at my situation and hopefully...
Where are you returning to
Put
the
us on
UK
speakerphone.
from is what we want to know.
I think Ori
play
said
it loudly.
I think Ori said she was in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ori.
Tough break.
Wow.
Take a look at my
Don't leave.
situation and hopefully get back out again. Some of my trans friends have been talking about moving to Ireland. You got freedom of movement to Ireland. You can go and live there if you want.
Graham, I have a breaking
live.
announcement. announcement.
No?
The Bin podcast has super chats available for the first time.
Oh my God! You got 1,000. Woo! Yeah! Woohoo!
We did
That's
it.
pretty cool. That
did
is pretty cool.
Oh.
Well done.
So blow our minds, if you will.
Congratulations.
Amazing. I might have a look.
Now you can afford the fees for your school bus,
Guys,
Mikey.
it's starting at midnight, and I got.
Oh, there's not going to be school. There's not going to be school by the time my kid goes.
Did I help with like my 8 different channels that are subscribed on?
What are you talking about? Those were all genuine, organic viewers. How dare you?
Yeah, something like that.
Can I just point out that Cozy's
Can I just say
contribution
one
to
thing
the
before you
beard
point it
debate
out?
was to drag a bearded man into a room? Was that? Did I miss that?
Don't.
Cozy?
Yes.
I'm not a fan of
Yeah,
beard.
self-dealing.
What? Tam's got a beard. How can you not be a fan of
No.
Tam's lovely beard?
Well, he didn't when I fell in love with him.
Oh, we're hitting on a domestic here. We should move
dear.
on.
Oh,
Bye,
dear.
Scott.
Your point.
Guys, I gotta go.
Bye,
Oh,
Scott.
Scott.
It's 12 o'clock. I gotta get up in the morning. I'm cutting air in it.
You what?
Yeah, mate.
Cutting air in it.
You cutting there?
I'm cutting air.
Why are you cutting there?
I'm cutting air because I'm trying to be a barber in it.
You.
She's going to make fun of you again, Scott. Run. You're
How
walking
rude.
into
Go,
it.
go.
Fucking
Time to
rude.
go, Scott.
She's about to volleyball spike you. Don't do it.
I'm so sorry, but Scott, I love you, my darling, but you
She was
lined it
about
up
to say
so
it.
nicely.
She's
Why
about
do
to
you
say
think
it.
I like barbering? I get to play with hair again. I don't have hair to play with. I get to play with
Oh,
other people's.
That's only slightly disturbing.
Oh, we have a super chat from Politics Social, £2. Here you go, matey.
Oh,
First.
that's
Oh, so lovely of whoever that was.
Whoever that was.
Thank
they're
you, mystery person, for your first
Yes.
super chat.
Probably.
I think that mystery person deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And a good shellacking. Who was it?
Sorry, who was getting off? Who was going? Scott.
Scott's
Scott's
getting off.
frozen.
Scott.
I think he's
Look
gone.
at look
What
at the
happened to
picture he's
Scott?
frozen on. Is he frozen for you as well?
Yeah, no,
Oh my god, it was all Jacob's ladder for a moment there, Scott. It was, that was really
It's like the
fucked
scream.
up.
I love you guys.
Like something from Quake. All right, take care, mate.
Love you,
Scott.
Scott.
Bye.
Bye,
Sweet
Scott.
dreams.
Take care,
Sweet
Scott.
dreams. Sweet dreams. It is midnight. It is the witching hour. Scott is Scott still there? Yeah, he's gone. Ori,
talk about
£5 super chat. Thank you. Yes, it was Japan. Best 2 weeks of my life. Now back to hell.
Oh,
Man.
I'm really
I wanna
sorry.
go to
I'm really
Japan so
sorry.
bad.
But there's a lot of support that has come out.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
That was quite impressive.
Hai, watashi
Say
wa
good morning.
nihongo benkyo shimasu. Nihongo manabu.
I like it.
Wow.
But I was going to say, like, the one of the
super chat
good
from
things that's
Scott.
come out of all this shit the last week and a half since this Supreme Court ruling is that so many people I know who have always shied away from talking about the trans debate are now actually speaking out. Finally. I mean, this is what it's taken.
True. Yeah,
It's far too
potential
fucking
allies
late
are
in
waking
some
up.
respects. But there's been a lot of people who I haven't seen ever talk about this on social media. They've never made a video about it. They've never made a podcast about it. They've never mentioned it. And now they're doing stuff about it, finally. And you can you can feel the pennies dropping all over the place.
About a week ago, I did see somebody say, I don't want to get involved. I don't know enough about it. I don't feel I'm in a position to say anything about, which is was in the past a fair position to take. And I was quite pleased to see that they got told you're gonna have to pick a side on this one. You can't sit on the fence and get splinters here. You're gonna have to educate yourself. You're gonna have to think about what your values are, what it is you want in life, what kind of a world you want to live in, and act accordingly.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a request, Graham. We need to talk about something.
Ooh, okay. Am I in trouble?
No, not you, but the Labour government, yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you guys are aware of the green paper that was published like about a month ago or late last month, about impending disability cuts.
Yes.
Oh, this will affect me.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, you and 90% of people in receipt of PIP, 90% of people on the low rate are going to actually lose PIP, lose that income. The problem is not only that, you've got to think in terms of families. So you might have a family where one person's getting PIP, another one is getting carers allowance. Whoa,
Yeah.
Another one is getting carers allowance. And, you know, what else might they be getting? They might be getting the health component of the universal credit. They're losing all of that.
Yeah.
Because they lose one, they lose the other, and so on. So the cuts are going to be phenomenal. But according to the government's own figures say that an additional 56,000 children will be pushed into poverty. The
Sorry, how many again, Cozy?
Action Group, CPAC, gets better. Hear me out on this. CPAC, the Child Poverty Action Group, have said the government figures are way too low. It's going to be at least 100,000.
Okay, well let's make something clear at this point. It's a green paper.
Care.
It's a green paper, which is a consultation.
The green paper, yes.
Document.
Well,
so are they going to consult with us? Can we tell them to fuck off? Can we get in on this?
Some things they're consulting on, but a lot of things they're not consulting on because they're planning to push them through as primary legislation. So not statutory instruments, but actual acts of parliament. And they've got the majority to do it with.
They have got the majority, but I mean, would Labour MPs go along with plunging that many children into poverty? Would they go along with taking PIP away from 90% of the poorest people?
Dan Carden, MP for Walton. Now, do you know which is the most deprived constituency in the UK?
It's Walton, which is also, funnily enough, the safest Labour seat in the country.
Yeah.
Walton is in North Liverpool.
Who is pushing for these cuts?
Is it the MP for Walton?
Yes. 30% of his constituents are going to be losing out.
Why is he pushing for it? Is he
because he's the leader of Blue Labour.
They're actually called Blue Labour.
Yeah. You're going to have to look into this.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, the calls are coming from inside the house, Graham. Calls are coming from inside the house.
Why would he take that seat? Is he a Scouser? Is he from was he parachuted in?
That's a really good question. He's been there for a while, but I genuinely don't know. That's something to look up.
Okay.
I was in a briefing the other day about it, but I had to leave early, so I need to go back over the slideshow and look up some of the figures. And when I do, I'll share some of that. I'll try and put together a little write-up for you, a little briefing, but it'll take me a couple of weeks because I'm snowed under at work. And
he is a Scouser. His mum worked for the NHS for 40 years. His dad was a shop steward during the Liverpool Dockers.
And I know him to be fundamentally decent in others, but in the past. But
he was a member of the Socialist Campaign Group caucus of left-wing Labour MPs before founding the economically left-wing and socially conservative Blue Labour Parliamentary Caucus in 2025.
Blue MAGA.
What the fuck?
It's capitalism, dog. I'm telling you, we are in late stage capitalism. These people are bought. They are selling us up Schitt's Creek without a paddle on purpose. And they're just like, I'll just lose my job, but I'll be filthy rich.
He went to St. Eddie's College in West Derby. That was a private school. He's going on the private school mafia list. Off to the private school mafia for you, mate, because it says that it's the co-educational Catholic school with academy status, but I'm pretty convinced when he went to it, it was a private school because they had like a swimming pool and shit.
The fix is in.
Yeah. I'll find out for you. Ori, thank you very much for the £10. Ori, you're being very, very generous. Thank you, Ori. £10 super chat. Must be off. We're boarding soon. Have another super chat. Also, the benefit cuts are messed up as well. Some of my friends are going to get screwed by this too. Yeah, it absolutely fucking sucks and we need to have words.
They're making poor and disabled people poorer, while at the same time doing absolutely nothing to improve access to employment or ensuring people get higher wages that can keep up with the rising cost of living. In other words, welcome to eugenics for the 21st century.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing to me that neither party has used the minimum wage as the wedge issue to force themselves into power, because that is essentially the easiest way to always win your election, is to promise higher wages, like higher minimum wages. So if there turns into like an arms race where they're like, all right, I'm going to raise the minimum wage to 20 pounds, I'm going to raise it to 25 pounds, like, not only would that fix so much,
they get called out pretty damn quickly that's going to increase inflation beyond.
But we all know that it's the opposite. But when you have stagnant wages and then inflation on all of our goods, services, utilities, commodities, all of that goes up from inflation, but all of the wages are supposed to stay stagnant. That's how we got here.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, just to try and be a little fair to the Labour government, they did put the minimum wage up, didn't they, at the last budget?
Yeah. St Eddie's was it was private from the 70s until 2000, I think 2011, when it became academy status. So definitely when Dan went to the school, it was
a private Catholic school.
Private Catholic school, yeah.
That's
so I'm going to be adding him to the private school mafia.
Catholic schools always very
Let's have a look
private.
On my private school mafia list. Any guesses to how many names are on the private school mafia list now?
1,127.
No, it's closer to 1,500. I think it's 14 and something.
No, it's 1,255.
I'm closest without going over. I will take my golden goose egg. Thank you very much.
Oh!
One golden goose egg, please.
It's amazing that there are so few superior humans in the country, really, when you think about it. We're very lucky to have them, all 1,200 of them.
Yes.
The thing is, I mean, okay, I think in terms of actors or comedy and stuff like that, it's maybe not so easy to quantify. But MPs, it's very easily quantifiable. You know, out of the finite number of MPs, how many went to private school? And what representation?
I read the other day that there is nobody in the cabinet that went to a private school. Is that right, Graham?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's the first public
first time
school.
ever, isn't it?
Yeah,
the state school. State. I mean,
it's a state.
Technically speaking, Keir Starmer did go to a private school, but became private while he was there. So he finished his education, didn't have to pay for it. So it's slightly different. And also, there's quite a few people who got in on grants because these schools had to at least pretend that they allow kids from deprived backgrounds to get into the school. So they give at least one in every 100 places to a poor kid.
All 1%.
Yeah, 1%. The absolute bare minimum they can legally get away with. Funnily enough, that's the number of subtitle movies they show at cinemas because it's the minimum they can legally get away with.
Well, yeah.
That must be an issue for Kat.
It is. It really fucking
is.
That's
why you...
No, pisses me off. Really pisses me.
That's really funny.
But
in Germany, original with subtitles is a thing. It's like you get lots of art house, separate cinemas, and everything. All their screenings are, as we call it, with you. You know, original with subtitles.
Yes. All films should be like that.
The only snag is, I once went to the cinema in Zurich with my foster brother, who's English speaking, doesn't speak any German. And the film was with subtitles in German, but we thought, okay, but the original is going to be in English, isn't it? Turned out it wasn't. It was a Bollywood.
It was a Bollywood movie.
Brilliant.
Like, I hate. I absolutely. I've spoken about this on the channel before. I hate subtitle movies. Dubbed movies. Give me subtitles every time. Every fucking time.
I mean, I'm with you. In Germany, everything was dubbed, and I made a point for many years of watching Austrian TV because there was less dubbing and more original with subtitles. So hence, I became a massive fan of the Munsters because that's one of the things that was shown on Austrian TV late at night in the original with subtitles as opposed to
Herman Munster.
Yep.
Honestly, Cozy.
It was Lily that did it for me, actually. Lily Munster.
She was fit. Listen, just to go back to what you were saying about this guy up in Walton in North Liverpool.
Yeah.
When you said blue Tory or blue Labour, I thought you were just giving
I thought that the first time I heard it as well. Apparently it's a thing.
Red tie Tory or something like that. I thought it was just a derogatory thing. But no, it is a caucus within the Labour Party that is pushing for socially conservative bullshit. Like, why not join the fucking Conservatives? Like, I don't understand. Why join a party and then fuck it up?
Because you join the party that has more chances of success where you are. I actually challenged a Tory.
He gets the safest Labour seat.
Because he was a really decent human being, I must say. And he was really nice. He helped me out with something, and I was like, "Why are you in the Conservatives? This doesn't suit you."
Who was this?
Doesn't bring out the colour of your eyes. It's just not your style.
Who was in the Conservatives?
This is a councillor where I used to live.
Right.
Here in New Brighton. So,
talking about Darren.
Not where we live now, but where we lived previously. And he was just a genuine, fundamentally decent human being. One of those nice people. And I asked him, why did you join the Conservative Party? And he said, because at the time when I got into politics, that was the party that was most likely to go places. If you wanted to actually get a seat, that's the party you joined.
Wow.
It's Wayne, as Mikey says, that's Wayne's story.
Yeah, I was about to say, she's talking about Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
She didn't want to name him, but it was Wayne.
Can I just ask a quick question for the Brighton lads down in Brighton, right?
Yes.
Who would win in a fight between Brighton and New Brighton, where Cody lives?
Oh.
Well, New Brighton, but we wouldn't even get involved.
What's New Brighton?
What's a fight?
New Brighton is a little seaside resort
that was
across the river from Liverpool, which used to have a tower bigger than Blackpool Tower, actually. In fact, Blackpool Tower, if I remember correctly, was a copy of New Brighton Tower.
I think it was a copy of the Eiffel Tower, to be fair. It was a big metal.
I'm guessing.
May very well be true.
Just guessing that New Brighton was a copy of Brighton anyway. So
it was. Well, not
like
a copy.
New York is a copy of York.
The name was inspired by Brighton. Yeah, the idea was to create a seaside resort very much in this.
I was going to say, it sounds like somebody decided, let's build a new version of Brighton, but model it on Blackpool.
For the workers from Liverpool, and that's what happened.
I was very disappointed when I went to New York and they didn't have a big fuck off cathedral. They didn't have a railway museum. They didn't even have a Viking museum. That really smelt a bit funky.
I just wanted to remind you guys that New Brighton actually was established before Brighton. And it was very odd. And like, why are you calling it New Brighton? It's like, you'll see.
You'll see. Just wait.
In like 500 years, this will make sense. And then you will have the egg on your face. So,
anyway, so Trump and Putin, right, are trying
to... God, we're supposed to be talking about that. Yeah.
Were we? Oh, was there a topic tonight's show?
That was supposed to be the topic of tonight's show. We haven't talked about it at all. The Ukraine peace deal, which requires Ukraine to give all of Ukraine to Russia and Russia to get away with everything and then start trading with America again. And it's calling it a peace deal.
Appeasement deal.
Yes. That's what it is, appeasement.
Yeah.
And then Trump's going, oh, can you stop bombing Ukraine? You're making me look bad. Vladimir, stop.
And he said no.
Texting him, stop. And Vladimir Putin's like,
it's difficult. We talk about Trump a lot, don't we? And
unfortunately,
the reason I think everybody's struggling to get engaged in this one is I'm not sure what's changed here. The guy has just been caught on camera saying Putin, I mean, and then when he said, what was Russia compromised on in this deal? And he said, well, they didn't invade the whole country.
Are you fucking joking me?
Yeah, that's what he said.
They tried.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they didn't get any further because they met with some bloody strong
of course. And the problem is we all know that. Everybody in the world knows that. Even the MAGA fans know that. And Trump sits there and says, well, Russia are capitulating by not invading the entire country. And you just sit there going, how stupid do you think we all are? And yeah, kids are dying, houses are being, but my friend from Kyiv I checked on her because it looked like her apartment block that was hit the other day, basically. But
fuck.
it's still, her apartment block's still surviving at the moment. But no, I mean, it's a ludicrous situation. And being honest with you, her opinion was actually it would be better at the moment if America just pulled out completely and just said we're not involved in this anymore. And
because they're making it worse.
Yeah, and then Europe will step in, and Russia will know that either Europe is stepping up to this fight, or Europe is going to capitulate.
Do you guys remember when Trump got on social media and was like, "Yo, Putin, I'll see you in 10 hours because I'm on a plane to come whoop your ass because I told you ceasefire, motherfucker, and you didn't do it. So I'm coming to beat your little bitch ass myself." Remember when he did that? Remember when he was like, "You're going to do what I tell you to do, or I'm going to spank you"? Remember he said that? Oh, no, he didn't do shit. All he did was blind Ukraine so they can get sucker punched. And now he's acting like, "Oh, I don't know why the peace thing's not going so well. It's hard to get a hold of the Ukrainians." Oh, you mean because they keep attacking their fucking power infrastructure? Is that what you're talking about? Like for the civilians? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm not at all in favor of the idea that he's playing 9-dimensional chess, but ultimately, I think it's just a part of a plan to break up Europe's power, to get them to spend money on wars and stop them competing, because Europe, China are the actual competitors of America economically at the moment. And I think it's just, Vance's plan effectively to disable Europe, make it fight a war on its
Europe, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. And it's an economic argument. That's the point. Somebody was saying to me the other day that, somebody told me that they supported Trump because they thought he would bring peace. It was a taxi driver out to the hospital the other day, and he was an Afghan.
I've seen that from
He was an Afghan refugee, Afghan from 20 years ago. He left when the Russians invaded 25 years ago. And he said, 40. I believe
Mike, 40, it's 2025. I was like, hold on, brother.
Sorry, yesterday, whenever it was, the Russians were there. But no, he was legitimately saying that he believed Trump was a peaceful president. And I said to him, I think the issue is, the more I think about it, talking to you about it, I think Trump is basically saying, I will bring peace to American troops. I will stop American troops fighting wars. And I don't give a shit about all the others. They can die. Who cares?
Then why would he pick Hegseth?
Because Hegseth will be drunk at the point that,
Hegseth is a bloodthirsty animal. And that's what he wants to. He wants to do the Uruk-hai, white hand on the face, get everybody rabid again. You know what I mean? You don't get the rabid guy if you're talking about peace. You'd put in some nerd who would just dismantle the whole thing. He put Elon Musk in charge of it, and he just dissect everything.
If you look at the dictator playbook, he's not training the army to fight foreigners.
Okay, I mean, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, American exports to Russia. Do you think America exports more stuff to Russia? This is American merchandise, American cargo, sold in Russia, right? Do you reckon they sell more to Russia or Bermuda, which has a population of 65,000?
Well, since you
probably
picked
Bermuda, isn't it?
You've picked somewhere very specific.
They sell more stuff to Bermuda than they do to Russia.
That was a good guess.
They sell more stuff to Cuba, even though there is the Trading with the Enemies Act, and they're not supposed to be doing that. They trade more with the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. They trade more with Aruba, a lot more with Aruba, actually. They trade more with Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. More than double what they trade. They sell to Russia.
Haynes, I think, has a plant there.
Cayman Islands, Guyana, Uruguay, Iraq. They sell more stuff to Iraq and Oman and to Bangladesh, and they're gonna turn their backs.
Good films there.
on the richest countries in the world in Europe for the sake of Russia, which has a GDP on a par with like Grenada, Nicaragua.
I think I go back to it's a proxy war with Europe and China that is actually
GDP per capita on a par.
Because nobody,
why do you want to?
You'd never look at the Russian
They've got a lot of
economy
money.
and say that it was an equal to anybody. They're not. They're barely equal to the Italian economy, aren't they, or something? It's,
Trump's so stupid he forgets California is in the United States.
Yeah. One Aggie Pagan.
Go to bed.
We're going to cut off in a few moments. I think we'll finish at past tonight. So thanks, Josh, you sexy motherfucker, and we're loving the beard. We're getting loads of love in the chat for your beard, mate.
It's a beautiful.
I should have brought it up a lot earlier.
It's a beautiful beard. Yeah. Should be very proud.
We didn't know your ego was so fragile. We'll mention it at the top of the show next time.
As I say, strangely enough, as I say, when I cut off my wife, she come in and said,
I thought you were going to say when you cut off your wife's beard.
No, basically saying, I just cut the microphone because she's bit conscious. So I cut the mic and said, right, I'm going to bed. Give me a kiss. Good night. I said, we cut that hobo beard off. You look right slob. So I had that chuckle.
I like your wife.
What's the beauty about wives? They just reflect you like a over polished mirror right back to yourself when you don't even ask. Don't even ask.
We've got a couple of super chats in. One from One Angry Pagan. Frigs, love and blessing all you wonderful badgers. Thank you so much, One Angry Pagan. And probably last super chat of the night from Quincy, €5. Thank you. I agree. Trump wants EU, including UK, and China weakened. A bully doesn't like rivals, but they can sell us stuff. They can't sell shit to Russia. It's got no fucking money.
I think they're trying to. I think the maneuver is they're trying to force Zelensky out.
Yeah.
They want to force out Zelensky, get him to resign, get somebody who's Russia friendly in there, and just have them stay Ukraine but be completely under Russian control.
It's also not about
kind of like America.
It's not about the long-term prosperity of America either. It's the short-term what rewards they'll get from Russia for doing that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So,
and Elon's got Trump all in his head like, oh, you should get those rare earth minerals. That's what you should get. Yeah, because Elon wants those for batteries. Not America needs those to make chips or anything like that. He wants those for batteries, and that's what he's going to do with them.
It's very late in the day for this, but I was watching something about rare earth minerals because I have to admit I didn't. Like everybody becomes an expert on the latest thing that comes out in politics.
I'm a space nerd.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go and check on
gadolinium
minerals, and it turns out the majority of them are everywhere. Like you can dig up your back garden and find most of these minerals. The reason they're rare is the processing is disgusting and foul and polluting and kills people. And China has a monopoly on these rare earth minerals because they don't really give a shit about that. They just do that basically in the northern provinces.
So the reason they're rare is because most places don't want to go for
won't process them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And America could do it. They could become self-sufficient in rare earth minerals tomorrow as long as they don't mind killing the kids.
And yet they
rack ideas in their heads.
There's no tomorrow.
Kids are going to be in the mines getting them. What you talking about?
Well, yeah.
Well,
just drop out of high school and be a mine trainer.
They seem to want to get all these Yanks out of university and instead put them down the mines and working in the fields. And it's Pol Pot all over again. Fucking
and they're over here clapping. And the 20-year-olds are clapping like, yeah, put the kids in the mine. I'm like, dumbass, you are young. You are going to the mine. Like they're going to close whatever job you have. The supply chain is going to be completely disrupted and you're not going to be able to show up to work anymore. And then you're going to get hungry. And then you're going to be going to the mine so you can feed yourself. Like that's the plan. That's why they're collapsing the economy.
Oh, I'm not going to have a problem.
Where they want you to go. Yeah. Who are going to barbecue you if you come to their house because they are also hungry.
Exactly.
Like the cannibalism is going to be very quick. Very quick.
Well, babies are nutritious. Children are nutritious.
They have a lot of fat storage,
Yeah.
And if you marinate them before you roast them.
Plus,
this is why they're opposed to abortion. It all makes sense.
If you eat the flesh of an unbaptized boy, you gain the gift of flight.
And on that note.
And on that bombshell, back to the studio.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for that, Graham.
Cut to commercials. Yes. If someone can name the film that I've just quoted, I would be so fucking impressed. But,
Graham's deposition before a grand jury, part 1.
I was quoting a movie.
What have been caught in
here,
the
I gotta-
Scotsy? What?
Josh has got to go.
Bye, Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
See you later, Josh. Take care, mate.
No, Josh.
Adios, amigo.
Right. Well, I'm yawning my head off. In fact, I was yawning my head off before I came on, so I'm going to say
bless.
goodnight as well and let you guys
Cozy.
finish off.
All right.
But
Bye,
yes, Graham,
Cozy.
we've got to make that a topic one of these days. The disability.
Next week. Let's do it next week because it affects
give
me
me
as
a
much as
couple of
anyone else.
No,
in
we
the
shouldn't
room.
do it on
let's-
here because you know what? You set up a topic on here and we end up talking about anything but. So, Cozy, let's do
Hey, I've got an idea. Let's talk about Trump and Putin. Let's do that.
I wouldn't
Fair
invite
enough.
Cozy, though. She's just going to start insulting people's beards and just derail us from the whole...
Yeah.
Cozy,
Cozy, you can insult my beard as much as you want. I don't care.
Join the
She
queue
doesn't
with
care
his
either.
Find a razor. God knows where they are.
I
Cozy,
told you I am trying.
tomorrow night, are you around in the evening? Tomorrow?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We could do an episode of The Intersection. We used to do that on Wednesdays, but now I do the rabbit hole, which is like
Possibly.
anything but politics with Rachel.
I've got to do a bit of work, and then I've got to do a shit ton of volunteering to organise the Black Europeans event.
Okay.
and
Oh well, we'll sort it
Liverpool
out
and
at some
stuff like
point.
that.
Yeah.
So
But we
let
do
me
need to have
know
a good conversation
timings
about it.
And if I'm alive, if I'm
Okay.
awake.
So yeah, you
time
have
is
to
it?
be alive. That's one of the rules of being of live streaming.
Does
You need,
quite help.
We
it's
got
not called
rules
dead
over on my
streaming.
channel. You do
What
have to
time
be
are you
alive.
looking at?
I was thinking something like 6 o'clock or something like that in the evening.
Okay.
It's a hard yes. You have to be
Send me
alive.
deets. I'm not promising anything.
Okay. Well, neither am I. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
But yeah, by all means, make it a definite maybe.
Cool. Okay, Cozy. Thank you so much, and I'll see
Pencil
you
me in.
possibly tomorrow.
Lovely to see you all.
We'll see. All right. Take care. Bye.
Night,
Cheers,
night.
Cozy.
Okay,
Good night, love.
we're all going to get off very, very soon. Just want to say a big thank you to Quincy for the €5. New Minecraft
high
movie.
definition.
I love the mine. Coincidence? I think not. Indeed. And I think Mikey's had some super chats. You've had some super chats, haven't you, Mikey? Do you want to read them out? Or
I did.
oh, you did. Okay.
I just muted myself in here so you guys couldn't hear me.
Oh, that was clever. Oh,
Yeah.
you clever badger. I didn't even see
Yeah,
your lips
I'm a
move.
producer on YouTube.
You Americans and your tech. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We've
Disgrace.
still got like little
I
hamsters
I
going.
feel
around, hamster
assaulted
wheels.
now.
Did you
Any-
use AI or something to help you there? What's that?
Yes, my brain.
It's all me.
Solved the
It's
problem.
It's A1. Have you been using the A1, Mikey?
Yeah.
No.
It's all in the
The
schools. man. It's
kids,
very
they're all
popular.
learning about the A1. You know, they're just it's their favourite A road. It's the A1M up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Up here
Anyway.
it says A62.
I'm American. We don't have letter streets like you guys do. Okay, they're just U.S. number. Okay, south, north, east, west. We don't do.
I
any
have a
letters
question.
on our
We have
roads.
I have a
class
question.
system for our roads. man.
I've got a question for Mikey.
classist roads. Our
Mikey,
roads are for everyone.
What's the name of
Here we
the
go.
thing in your house that has the Wi-Fi on it? And it
The router.
okay. What's
No.
the name of the road number 66? What do you call it? The one that goes across
Route
America.
66.
Oh,
Oh. So,
So it's like-
where's that place where all the little islands like Cuba and Barbados and St. Lucia? What's that area called?
The Caribbean.
Okay, and what's that movie with Johnny Depp where he plays a pirate? Pirates of the...
Caribbean.
It's all fitting together now.
Oh, I'm sure it's Pirates of the Caribbean. For some reason. It's just for that one thing. I've got one last one.
Mm.
If you find a gap in the market, what's the word that you use to say that you found this gap? Begin with N.
Gap in the market.
Yeah, well, you found
The stock market.
No, if you're selling something and you found something that no one else is selling, and you say that you found in the market.
Oh, a niche.
Oh yes, good. You said it right. It's okay. I'll let you off. So
Oh.
Al Gore says niche in the movie An Inconvenient Truth, and it's pissed me off
Yeah.
for 25 years. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
He says
Well,
niche.
I mean,
Graham, let it go.
I don't know if you've heard you or in your compatriots in your irregular inconsistencies in your language, but we don't have that much time. Like, not only do you guys pronounce things funny, your entire like, do you guys even realize when you do Cockney rhymes, Cockney slang or whatever, rhyme slang? You guys do it all the time without even realizing that you've done it.
Really?
Yeah, you'll say apples and pears and shit like that.
I think that's Wayne. I think you've hung out with Wayne.
No. You've done it a few times too. And then like you guys have like, and you guys do it like super quick sometimes where I don't even catch that you just did like a Cockney rhyme slang thing. Like like I don't even catch it all the time.
So what's dog and bone?
Phone.
What's trouble and strife?
Your wife.
What's apples and pears?
The stairs.
That's all you need to know.
Well, Graham, while we're on this subject, I've been watching a YouTube channel and they keep talking about their dogs hurting their feet. And I cannot for the life of me work out what is it dog meat or something?
Dogs.
What's the rhyming slang? They keep referring to their feet as dogs.
Dogs, bollocks, swallocks, flollock. I have no idea.
I know. I've never heard it.
Dog meat.
They're both
dog meat.
One of these guys is from Essex and one's from Sussex.
Isn't it when you race dogs? Isn't it called a dog meat? Like MWT.
It could be. I don't know. But it's lost on me. I've got no idea.
I'm sure someone in our chat will know. Why are dogs' feet in Cockney rhyming slang?
We can all look on the bright side. Come tomorrow, the Bantams are going to beat Donna.
Okay.
Beat the Don.
Beat him. Yeah. Beat him to death with his own legs.
The chickens are going to beat Donny Osmond. Excellent.
Yes. Excellent. The Bantams are going to beat Donna. Beat him good as well.
This is how little I know about this. I know Donny is
Doncaster.
I don't know who the Bantams are. What team are they?
They're just basically Bradford City. It's the last couple of games and we are in the automatics, and we are in the automatic spot where we could get promoted, but we're playing top of the league. Oh dear. Doncaster Rovers.
The thing about football is you can be full of hope until 4:00 tomorrow afternoon, and then you got another 7 days and you'll be playing again.
But thing is, we've been in a league where we are the biggest club in that league. We have been the laughing stock. We've been stuck in League Two for so long. You know, for the last couple of weeks, our attendances have been nearly 20,000, and we're playing teams that have Reg, Steve, and Roland with Patch the dog, and that's their full attendance.
Have you tried not being so shit?
Have you tried being brought by a Hollywood star or something? Isn't that how it works?
Or a Middle Eastern sheikh?
Make a documentary.
We don't do things easy. We never have done.
Rock the Casbah.
We've never done anything easy.
They're like the average Joes out there, fucking in dodgeball, just out there.
This is
the gym facility is like lifted car batteries on a string.
We're not Wrexham. This is Bradford. We're not Wrexham.
I'm so sorry.
They're not Wrexham. They're worse.
They're not Wrexham.
The Mighty Ducks.
They wish they were Wrexham.
They're like the Mighty Ducks.
They're going up, don't they? They're League One, aren't they? They're going up to League.
Yeah. And do you know who the manager is? Phil Tarkinson.
Ex-Bradford.
Yeah, ex-Bradford manager.
There you go.
Oh, they pinched your manager.
By paying him a decent wage instead of a bag of chips.
Well, to be fair,
instead of his own hat.
And he was the manager at the time when we got all the way to the Major Cup final, when we were a League Two team and we beat Chelsea at home at their home ground. 4-2, 4-2. Oh,
when you got
Chelsea.
What an absolute
the reason I don't follow football is I wouldn't be able to cope with this level of disappointment every week, basically.
It becomes part of you. The disappointment and the shame and the owning of the shame, it just becomes part of you after a while.
Yep.
Just think about what Kat has to go through being, hitched to me.
Also,
a daily disappointment.
Thing is, though, if we don't go up, it don't matter. We've already got season tickets for next season anyway, because we're mental.
Well, you're all right then.
Yeah.
You're all right.
So if I'm gonna jump into the sports ball with y'all, being a Chicago citizen, we had the best. I mean, Jordan. I mean, can you imagine? And then the White Sox had their run, the Blackhawks had their run. We were just winning all the time. All of that stopped for like 15 years. And we have been eating shit for years. We can't win in any sport at all. Our basketball team is trying its best. An Australian is our lead right now. Like, it's all bad over here. And I get it.
I think they're trying to drop a hint, mate. Just get out. Just get out of there.
See, the thing is,
there's nowhere to go.
See, the thing is,
Canada. Maple Leafs.
Canada is having a housing crisis, much like we have over here.
Go snuggle in together. It's cold up there. You need the body warmth, mate. Just get
They've already been doing that. So
yeah. You don't want to be big spoon. You don't want to be little spoon. You want to be middle spoon, because then you're warm all night. Listen, we better get going because I am so about to fall asleep.
Well, I was going to say something about Trump.
Anyway, Trump and Putin.
If only Trump didn't aggressively attack their economy. That makes it hard to plead there.
What do you want to say about Trump and Putin?
No, I'm done. I'm done now. We're done.
Good night. Good night, Vladimir. Good night, Donald.
Look, thanks, Mikey. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Darren. You're brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thanks for all the super chats. Really kind of you. Really appreciate it. We might be back tomorrow with a show. We might do an episode of The Intersection. So just look out for us. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon. And that'll let you know if we are going to go live. Otherwise, I'll see you on Sunday, one way or the other. So look out for that as well. Exciting things may be happening. Give us a like on the way out.
Have a good weekend, guys.
And have a cracking weekend. Take care. Hope the weather improves. Gets a bit warmer. I'm fucking freezing here. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.
Take care.